with a little bit of caution. But yeah, now I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. You might hear a little bit of difference as well with the microphone. It might sound louder than usual. Hopefully it sounds louder. I've been doing a little bit of work with it over the past 20 odd hours or whatever. I've got it finally plugged in a different way and changed a few bits and bobs. So certainly it should be louder. It should be nice and crisp. It should be clear. It might not clip, but it probably will. It probably will experience, if we get really, really loud, it might still cut off. I hope not, though. I really hope not. I am trying. I am trying to improve the audio-visual experience, but it's I'm not the most technically gifted people in the world. So it is a struggle. The struggle is real. But I'll tell you what else is real, and that is tonight's Dynamite. So what we're going to do is take a look at that graphic, and then we'll jump into the chat and see how people are doing. Dean already said, appreciate the videos. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the support. The mic is a bit loud. Is it loud? Is it too loud? It's louder, but is it too loud? It's not clipping. It's in the red, which, well, just on the edge of the red, which YouTube videos tell me this is where it should have been all along. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get some more feedback. We'll get some more feedback. We'll see what people say. We'll do a poll, actually. Let's do a quick little, we'll chuck it out there. Sound better or worse? Let's do that. Does it sound better or worse? Better. Worse. We'll see what people say. Right. Okay, let's go over, shall we, to the graphic. Boom. Here it is. So we have got Penta. So I don't even know what this is. This is 4 people going up against each other. I'm not sure why. It doesn't tell me on the graphic why. I can't remember why. Was this announced last week? I don't remember it being announced last week. So I don't know why we're doing this match. I'm guessing it's something to do with the Wrestledream card. Hang on, something's coming back to me. Yes, okay. There is a Fatal 4-Way at Wrestledream where we're going to do a tag team Fatal 4-Way. And we are going to try and find the number 1 contenders. So this is a match that's just got 1 participant from each of those teams going up against each other. That is just filler. That is just filler. That's one of those matches where we don't need to do it because we're getting the actual match at the pay-per-view card. So this is just a way of advertising it, basically. Okay. That'll be whatever. Willow Nightingale against Julia Hart. I'm sure someone's excited for that. Then we've got Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland contract signing. Now, let's go. Let's go, boys and girls. I said that this looked like it was going to be all right. Go home show, right? I'm a big fan of Swerve. I really am. I really, really like Swerve. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do there. Apparently, the Elite and Mogul Embassy are all banned from ringsides. So we've got that segment. We've got Christian Cage and Darby Allin. I like Christian. I really like the work that he's been doing. I think that he's a fantastic heel. I think that his promos have been really strong. I enjoyed his match with Jungle Boy. Now he is building towards a contest with Darby Allin. We've got a sit-down interview with Jim Ross, JR. That should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And MJF Adam Cole. Now, I personally have found these to be hit and miss. Sometimes there's parts of these segments that I enjoy. Sometimes there's parts that I don't enjoy. So this could be a bit hit and miss. But there is rumor that Adam Cole might miss this weekend because when he jumped off the ramp last week, apparently he did suffer an injury, and it's still not known yet as to whether he's going to actually be cleared for this weekend or not. So that is going to be an interesting segment because we could hear Adam Cole rule himself out from this weekend. It could be that this weekend it's just going to be MJF, like, I don't know, finding a new partner, or maybe MJF having to go it alone, or I'm not sure what we're going to do, but MJF is potentially going to have to do this weekend without Adam Cole. Don't know that that's the case. Tony Khan said that as of now, Adam Cole is involved. But, yeah, this is going to be interesting. That'll be an interesting segment. So, as I said, you know, the match is a bit throwaway. It's just to advertise the match that's coming up at WrestleDream. Willow Nightingale against Julia Hart. You know, okay. Contract signing. Love Swerve. Love Christian. Interested to see what Adam Cole's got to say. It's not loads, though, is it? I mean, there's 5 things there. Normally, we get a lot more announced for a Dynamite. Normally the graphics like full with like 7, 8 different things. This time we've got about 5 different things on there. So, yeah, this is something that might suggest we're going to be getting a fair few video packages this week, as obviously we are building and working our way towards WrestleDream. If we have a look at the WrestleDream card, we'll blast down the cards, we'll go to the chat, we'll get your thoughts on whatever you want to talk about, and then in a bit we will do the predictions. I won't do the predictions just yet. We'll get back to the predictions, but I think there'll be a lot of people watching that maybe don't know the WrestleDream card. So what we can do is just quickly blast down that, so we're all on the same page. So we've got, I don't know the main event, by the way. I think it might be this next one, but I'm not sure. Bryan Danielson against Zack Sabre Jr. Now, that is a legit dream match. One of the big things that builds this match up is that there is, in the Wrestling Observer, a Bryan Danielson award. It gets awarded to, like, the best technical wrestler. And it's called the Bryan Danielson Award. And it's named after him because he's won it so many times. Now, Bryan Danielson obviously couldn't wrestle for a while, and whilst he couldn't wrestle for a while, someone else started to win the Bryan Danielson Award, and that person was Zack Sabre Jr. So Bryan Danielson, one of the very first names I heard him mention about wanting to wrestle when he left WWE, one of the very first names was Zack Sabre Jr. So a lot of people have been waiting for this match. Like, to call this a dream match, I don't think is an exaggeration, right? It depends who you are, right? If you're like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid that's been watching wrestling for a year, it probably ain't a dream match, right? But if you have been watching wrestling for a while and certainly know of that story that I just told, then this is likely to be a dream match for you. And it is a dream match for me. It's a match that I definitely do want to see. It'd be such a shame if we never got this match. So I got nothing but praise for that. Nothing but praise for Danielson against Zack Sabre Jr. I'm very much looking forward to that. Hangman Page against Swerve. I keep saying it. I really rate Swerve. Swerve has actually grown on me since he's been in AEW. I like him more in AEW than I did when he was in WWE. Swerve, it was really the tag team with Keith Lee that really woke me up to him. I was aware of him anyway, but I really started appreciating him because of that tag team. And then he went off on his own and he kind of was just, I don't know, he got a bit lost. But now he's started to do some good stuff again. And I'm really enjoying what we've been doing recently. So, yeah, Hangman Page against Swerve. I'm down for it. Swerve needs to win. Hangman doesn't really benefit too much by beating Swerve, but Swerve beating a former champion. He needs that win, so I hope that Swerve wins the match, but I am looking forward to it as well. We've got FTR against Aussie Open. Should be a banger, man. Aussie Open are a great team. They've shown themselves to be a proper team. FTR may be the best tag team in the world right now. Don't even think it's that close, to be honest. I'm trying to think. I mean, it was always the Usos that were kind of in the run-in. But obviously the Usos aren't together anymore. So I think undeniably FTR are the best team in the world right now. So FTR against Aussie Open, I'll take that all day long. Top 3 matches here. legit look really good. Then we've got Better Than You, Baby against The Righteous. As I just said, I find their segments to be hit and miss. I think that sometimes I can watch Adam Cole, MJF, and it's just a bit silly. And I wonder why we're doing this around their world title. And then sometimes I can watch it and I can, see some great action. Like there was undeniably some great action in their match that they had at Wembley. So they are capable of some great in-ring action. They are both capable of cutting decent promos. Even Adam Cole has had some good moments on the microphone during this kind of phase. So it's hit and miss for me. I never know what I'm going to get. Because it's them as a tag team, the chances are it's probably going to lean into the silliness. It's probably going to lean into the Miz John Morrison kind of shtick, which I personally don't look for when I'm looking for an MJF segment. Like MJF to me is like one of the best heels, and what we're doing with him at the moment is we're not capitalizing on his real strength, which for me is him being a heel. So I know people are loving it. I know people are into the story. I personally am so 50-50 at best with it. So it's hard for me to say that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I'd watch it. It's not a chore for me to watch it, but it's not something I really go into with a load of excitement either. Just being honest as to where I stand with that, because that's how I feel about it. The other matches that I've mentioned, I'm way more excited about. So Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., Hangman Page against Swerve Strickland, FTR against Aussie Open. I'll give Better Than You, Baby, half a mark, right? Half a mark. So out of 4 matches, 3.5 so far. It's not bad, is it? Then we've got Chris Jericho, Golden Elite against the Don Callis family. I think this has been built pretty well, Certainly by AEW standards, I think this has been built pretty well. So I am going to say, I don't know who wins it, but I'm going to say that I'm excited for it, right? I think there's been enough movement there to get excited. The Sammy Guevara turn I thought was pretty good. I think pushing Takeshita is good. I think Don Callis is a good personality as well. I think he's a credible on-screen personality. Any match that's going to have Will Ospreay in is going to be of interest. There's a lot to like about this match. There's a lot to like. Kenny Omega's in the match. You've got the Golden Lovers. Yeah. So out of 5 matches, we're at 4.5, right? Right now, this is looking like it might be the most exciting AEW pay-per-view I've ever seen, right? After 5 matches, half the card, 4.5. That's my excitement level. That would mean out of 10, I'm at a 9, right? Don't worry, it's going to come crashing down in a sec. Let's carry on. Christian Cage against Darby Allin. Yeah, I could get with that. I like Christian Cage. Darby Allin, he lays it in, doesn't he? I don't mind that. So out of 6 now, I'm at 5.5. 5.5 out of 6. Jesus. We went through this yesterday during the Wrestling Escape Pod. I don't remember being this excited for it, but I am going line by line. I do like Christian. I just said that on the other screen. Eddie Kingston against Shibata? I mean, I ain't down on that either. I like Eddie Kingston. Shibata, Ring of Honor World title. I mean, I don't really care about what it's for. I mean, that reminds me a little of Kingston and Claudio, and I was excited for that the other week at Grand Slam. Thought it was all right as well. Good little contest, actually. Thought it set the tone of last week's show, and last week's show was really good. I think we gave it like a 7 something. Yeah, really good. We did this yesterday, and I don't remember being this high on it. 6.5 out of 7 I am at the moment. Here we go. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart. Boom. Listen, I like Chris Statlander. I haven't seen loads of Julia Hart, but she was, in my mind, she's like a 19-year-old cheerleader that, doesn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. Yeah. So she is someone that I perceive to be green as grass. We're going to be seeing her tonight. but I understand they're trying to build her up because of House of Black. I understand that she's been developing her character work a little bit, and I've seen the clips of her hanging upside down in the corner, looking all like moody, right? That is one that is going to be tough for me to be excited for, though, because Julia Hart, for me, should be nowhere near a premium live event, a pay-per-view sort of cards. Like, to me, she is NXT level. So it's kind of like having, I don't know, Thea Hale go to WrestleMania, right? So that one is, I like Statlander. Maybe I will watch that to see if it's a car crash, because that to me would belong on Rampage, right? Maybe not WrestleDream. WrestleDream. Yeah, so not that. So we are at 6.5 out of 8. And then Young Bucks against the Guns, against Lucha Bros, against Orange Cassidy and Hook. Right, so 6.5 out of 9. Because I ain't excited for the Young Bucks or the Lucha Bros or anything. Anyone knows that watches this, right? So, Guns. I don't mind the Guns. Orange Cassidy and Hook. I'm all right. So, yeah, 6.5 out of 9 is where I've ended up. So, I don't really know how that works out of 10, to be honest. I mean, I feel like it's an easy, 7 out of 10 in the end? Maybe 7.25 out of 10? I don't actually know how you would work it out, but out of 9 matches, I'm excited for 6.5 of them. So I still think that's pretty positive. I still think, like, even if it's, I don't know, 7.25, 7.5, that's pretty good for, like, a show that's just been chucked together. We've gone through a lot of big AEW shows. We've done All In, we've done All Out, we've done Grand Slam. So to now have this bonus pay-per-view, which has kind of come out of nowhere. We've never had a WrestleDream before, although in a way I bet we all have. But like WrestleDream is just this bonus show. So to be going into it like 7.25, 7.5, like, yeah, there's plenty on this card that I'm looking forward to. It's good. That's good. That's good. I'm quite pleased with where we are with this. I'll tell you what I think Collision has really helped with AEW. I think that a lot of that credible talent that I enjoy, a lot of that talent, like, say, the Ricky Starks, the Chris Statlander, the Christian Cage, well, Christian Cage maybe not so much, FTR, unbelievably FTR I would include in that list, Swerve, Strickland, maybe just this level that's not the Bucks, not Omega, not John Moxley, not Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. That level that's just underneath, but that I really enjoy. I think because now we've got 2 shows, it's allowing them more time to get on TV. And if they can get on TV, they can be involved in some angles and matches and feuds. And they need a payoff, which now means that more people that I enjoy are starting to get onto these cards. And I think that's because we're starting to see them more. And they're starting to be involved in meaningful feuds. And so that is a real advantage of Collision having come along, is that all of a sudden now Ricky Starks isn't sat in catering. You know, FTR aren't sat in catering, unbelievably. I don't know why they were in the first place. But we would go a long time without seeing FTR. So FTR are getting on the show. Swerve's getting on the show. Obviously, Statlander, as we said, is back. There just is more people that I enjoy that I'm seeing on a more regular basis now. And I think that's really helping these cards. I think it's really helping these cards. So, as I said before, it would have been your Orange Cassidy, your John Moxley, your Chris Jericho, your Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, probably in a trios match. You probably would have shoehorned in, like, the Dark Order or something like that. Like, do you know what I mean? All these spots would have been filled with these kinds of people, the same sort of names. And your Swerves, your Powerhouse. Where's Powerhouse Hobbs? Don't even know where he is. Where's Miedo? I don't know. But, like, all these kinds of names, they just weren't getting much of a look in. But I love the fact that they are now. I love the fact that they are. Let's quickly go into the super chats. Aaron, shout out to you, my friends. I hope you are well. I hope you're looking. Hope you're excited to have a WrestleDream, Aaron. Shout out to you. Says, I hope you are well. Sounds like Edge will come in soon, but you never know. Ordered the CM Punk jacket. I think it's fire. It's on Pro Wrestling Tees. Can you show it? Listen. If Aaron asks me to show something, I'm going to do it, right? I mean, maybe not everything, but Pro Wrestling Tees, I will do that. Pro Wrestling Tees. CM Punk jacket. You can't wear a CM Punk jacket. Aaron, you can't do that. Don't you know that goes against your contract with AEW? As a fully signed up fan, this is meant to be the Antichrist buds. You're not allowed to go buying CM Punk jackets. Do you know, I never go on Pro Wrestling Tees, and there's some really interesting bits on here. There's a really nice Takeshita shirt, actually. A really nice Takeshita shirt. Let me just bring up the window. I do love that little window thing. Honestly, I keep forgetting it's there. I always think it's going to block my face, and I don't mind it blocking my face, but that is nice. I do love the fact that that's there. I need to get that on more streams. That little thing. Let me. I do want the full one, though. Actually, I do want it to block my face, and I do need it to be a little bit smaller. Right. We have got. Is that everything? Yes, it is. Okay. So I don't know where it is. I did just see like a Tony Storm one there in the corner. It's kind of fun. But what's that? Bullet Club Golds. Bullet Club Gold. It looks like Bangarang. That's what it looks like. It looks like it says Bangarang. I was like, what's the Bangarang gang? Does that say Bullet Club Gold? It says Bang. Oh, Bang Bang Gang. Oh, Bang Bang Gang. Oh, I'm not a fan of that. Bang Bang Gang. Bang Bang Gang. Bang Bang Gang. What are you a member of? I'm in the Bang Bang Gang. Oh. Okay. Bang Bang Gang. It's pretty fun to say, in all fairness. Bang Bang Gang. Right, hang on. I'm not having a stroke. I'm just loading this up. Is it one of these, Aaron? Is it this one? This is what Aaron's picked up. Really comfortable. Look at that. Really convenient, actually. If you're just popping out to see friends or whatever, and you don't want to have to put on pants and a t-shirt, you just pop this on. You pop this on, and then that's it. You're done. It's so convenient. It's a bit like me. I mean, when I get up, I just chuck a hat on, but I still have to get underwear and find jogging bottoms and a t-shirt and just different bits. I could just get one of these. You know what I mean? Boom, straight into it, out the door. Hello, Mr. Postman. How you doing? What's this? Only 300 available. Back to school poster. All right. Oh, they do an LJN. I didn't know that. I didn't know they did an LJN style CM Punk thing. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool as well. Vintage blend soft t-shirts. Go to sleep. He's got a massive head though, isn't he? He's got a massive head. That's cool as well. These are cool, man. Honestly, these are cool. I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it is pretty good. What am I looking at? What am I looking for? I don't even know what I'm looking for, Aaron. I've forgotten. What did you get? Jacket. A jacket. Straight edge. That's a pretty fun Star Wars one. Clobbering time. Okay. I did see a jacket, just actually. Is it... Where was the jacket that I saw? I did see a jacket. Jacket. Hello? No? On this one? Ah, there is no jacket, is there? There is no jacket! I thought I'd seen a jacket. Did you just send me over here to look for a jacket that doesn't exist? Is this like some sort of prank where you're just hijacking the stream telling me, oh, I've just bought this jacket? Oh, no, there it is. Is it this one, the hoodie? This is the closest thing to a jacket I can find on Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah, that is the closest thing. Right, you've either bought this or you've been conned. Right, it's one or the other. Best in the world, live event exclusive. I'm going to bring it up here. That there, look. Is this what you've bought, Aaron? Let me know in the chat. There's only 7 left, so I hope you've been quick. Where is he? I need to see what he's saying. You can't order it. I'll send you an image. You've sent me to Pro Wrestling Tees for an item that you can't order anymore. That's basically not listed. Oh, go to Pro Wrestling Tees. I'd love everyone to see this thing I've ordered. Oh, by the way, it's not there. What? Jesus Christ. Guys, please. We're live. People are joining us, wanting cutting-edge conversation, talking about wrestling, not looking for items that don't exist anymore. God damn it, Aaron. God damn it. You've embarrassed me. You've embarrassed me right there. I hope you feel pleased to yourself. Right, let's try and go back in. I've sent you an image on Twitter. It's not even called Twitter anymore, it's X. You have sent me an image. You haven't sent me the full image, though, have you? It's just a partial image. There you go. Look, that's what I've got. Just a bit. You can see it's cut off at the edge. So you can see one sleeve, and you'll have to imagine what the other sleeve looks like. Does it say CM Punk best in the world, lightweight jacket, worldwide pre-orders starts July 7th? What? What do you mean? Is this old? Starts July 7th. Like, is this last July? Allow 6 to 8 weeks. Ships in 5 to 3 XL. Oh, small. I was like, what's 5? It sizes 5 to 3 XL. What's 5? It's small, guys. It's small. Come on, shut up. It allows 6 to 8 weeks to ship. It's $135 plus shipping. Oof. Ouch. Nice though. Nice though. I agree. It does look good. It does look good. It's not listed though. So I'm guessing, as you say, this is now sold out. So there you go, guys. If you do love the look of this, if you do really love the look of this, well, tough, because I believe it's gone already. Picture there with Punk wearing it as well. Yeah, it looks good. It does. I can't really say anything other than it does look good. I agree. Who's it made by? There's that company, isn't there? What are they called? I've got one jacket that, there's a company that make those kinds of jackets. WWE jackets. There's some great ones, man. Chalk line. Yeah, let's just quickly have a look at chalk line. Oh god, wrong one again. Boom. Chalk line. Oh, they've got old Raw. I've only just noticed it. Old Raw zone one. Bam, bam, button up. They're doing shirts now. Bam. This is chalk line. Right, they've got the license, and you can get some sick stuff. Hart Foundation, look at that. Hart Foundation jacket. Ooh, or in pink. Hart Foundation in pink or black, that's cool. Shawn Michaels, I could get a Rey Mysterio beanie. It's nice. Old school, wow, they're doing old school hats as well. Old school Undertaker cap. I haven't been on this website in forever, and it looks like it's got even more goated. It looks like look at that Razor Ramon. Stone Cold. We're not sponsored by them, so don't buy anything until they sponsor us. Right? That's the agreement we're gonna make. Look at that Dusty cap. Oh man, that's sick. That is sick. That dust, all the Ravishing Rick Rudes. The dusty one is cool though. The American Dream. I saw that they had done shorts and I saw they'd done jackets. I didn't know they were doing caps now. Look at the old school Warrior one, man. Jeez, you could buy that and pretend that you're in like 1990. That is the best. These are good. Roman Reigns, HBK. They did do a pretty cool Ric Flair jacket, which WrestleMania 6. Oh, man. So much good stuff. Oh, man. Look, do you remember that from the intro of WrestleMania 6? The constellations in the sky. The intro of WrestleMania. This was the intro. Like, just a load of stars. And then, like, you would see the outline of Hogan and Warrior and Stone Cold's leather jacket, biker jacket. Only $200 $225. That doesn't strike me as too bad. I don't remember Brett wearing that, though, to be honest. Randy Orton shorts, WCW shorts, dusty jacket, man. Oh, it's like the cap, but better. $150 for the dusty jacket. That's nice. Rey Mysterio. What else we got? The Rock. WrestleMania 18. Oh, Sports Illustrated from 85. Hulk Hogan. Sports Illustrated. Front cover from 1985. Oh my God. They are bringing back the old school good times, aren't they? Honestly, I have not... Oh, the old block logo. Razor Ramon, Cody Rhodes. I don't care about the new ones. Is that everything? Oh, I wanted more. Wanted even more. Hulkamania, DX. I love that. That blue trucker OG logo. It's not... It hasn't got the F though, has it? It's the new old school logo, so it loses points for that. It's pretending. I've got that one, the NWO one in black. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, man, some sick stuff there. I love that 85 one, this Hogan one. 85, man. I mean, such an important, the first year WrestleMania 1. Don't really want to be walking around with something with Hogan on, though, to be honest, in this day and age. Although, I did see a clip of Hogan on Booker T's podcast from a few years ago, so I don't know, maybe, people have accepted his apology, but it is still very much a bit, don't know. Although I did see someone in the crowd for one of the recent Raws, and they were just decked full out Hulk Hogan, like they'd come disguised as Hogan. It was like just full on Hulkamania, the yellow shirt, like, all that stuff. So, and I will go to Hogan's Beat Shop when I go to Florida next year. I went in 2019. I mean, I will go there, and I did buy his white shirt that says American Made, which is ironic because I'm not. But I did get the American Made one just because it's such an iconic shirt. I love, love, love that shirt. Anything that's Hogan where he's not in yellow, I just find so interesting because we never really saw Hogan not in yellow in WWF on the pay-per-views. And when I was young, growing up watching wrestling, Hogan was always yellow and red, always. Like, if you go back to, like, the old WrestleManias and everything, like, yellow and red. Same with the SummerSlams and Survivor Series and Rumbles. And, I wasn't watching the weekly shows. But to be honest, Hogan wasn't on the weekly shows all that often. So, like, the fact that there was a period of time where Hogan would wear, like, white and blue and, like, American Maids. And like all this kind of stuff, like the fact that there were times during Hulkamania, I'm not even saying before Hulkamania, during Hulkamania, where he wasn't wearing the yellow, I just think is so interesting because that is something that I only really found out when the internet really came along in the kind of early 2000s for me. When I was a kid watching wrestling in the early mid-90s, just thought he always wore yellow. So I do have a little bit of an interest in non-yellow Hogan attires. So that's why the American-made shirt I thought was really cool. But it doesn't have Hogan anywhere on it. Would I buy something that's got Hogan's face on and all of that in 2023? It's a tricky one, isn't it? I think it's a tricky one. Maybe people out there would say it's not a tricky one, and they absolutely would. Or maybe some people would say, no, I can't forgive him for what he said. I absolutely wouldn't. Each to their own is what I say. Each to their own. Oh, that was good, man. I enjoyed that. Aaron, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Aaron. That was a good idea. That was a good idea. So, right, let's try and get over to the chat. Check in off that Cole Bay Birds. It will make you want to take a 6-foot jump. Is Edge going to be MJF's tag partner, or will Edge get involved in the cage match? Very lifted as always. R.I.P. Ankle. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not expecting Edge to get involved in the show this weekend. I don't even know if he's allowed. I don't know when his contract runs out, to be honest, and when a non-compete would kick in and all of that stuff. Plus, on top of that, I have said from the beginning I don't expect Edge to go to AEW, and my stance on that hasn't changed. I think one thing did change since I made that comment. One thing did change. This was about 2 weeks ago, and that was that the rumors came out that WWE had not agreed to a certain offer that Edge wanted, or hadn't met Edge's demand. And that was very interesting, because in my mind, Edge is someone that's very loyal. Edge is someone who has only been with WWE, and for me, I think he's someone that loves WWE, knows that it's like the best place for his brand. I think it's the company he grew up watching and loving. He was obviously famously at WrestleMania 6, and I'm sure he did watch and enjoy other products, whatever, but I mean, he's got no history with AEW. AEW's come out of nowhere. It's not like he grew up as a kid watching AEW, so I don't think there's any sort of nostalgic pull for him to go to AEW. I think that for me, WWE is something that he watched when he was a kid, and it's the promotion that made him. And they've treated him well, they've paid him well, they've used him as a top star. And so for me, I just don't see him wanting to go. And to be honest, I've not had the impression that he has wanted to go. I've not sensed that he's wanted to go. I mean, he put a video out saying that WWE have given him a contract extension, but he's, having to think about, like, will he ever top what he did in Toronto? And so he's having to really think about what his next steps are going to be. So to me, that video said that he was deciding between retiring or signing a little extension with WWE. That little video he put out, I didn't get any impression that he was conflicted about, oh, maybe I should go to AEW. Because what he was saying was that he doesn't think he'll beat Toronto. He knows that it wasn't WrestleMania, but to him it was just as special to wrestle Sheamus in front of that crowd and have his friends and family there. And for the match to be as good as what it was, everything went great. It was where he started out. That to him is as magic as a WrestleMania moment. So it seemed like he had a decision to make about whether he was going to re-sign with WWE or whether he was going to walk away and retire. So nothing's really changed my mind. The only thing that has now come out today is that Better Wrestling Experience have said the Edge going to AEW is closer than ever. But I don't know what that's based on. Is it based on the fact that they've still not reached an agreement? Is it that they're just playing hardball and that WWE will give him what he wants at the 12th hour to ensure he doesn't go to AEW? Will it be, I mean, is it just a case that they're in a standoff and someone's going to back down? But so far, neither side has backed down. I don't know. I don't know what. Without having Edge here to speak to him, it's hard to know kind of where his head is at the moment. But from the very day one, my opinion on this just hasn't moved. I haven't changed my mind on it at all. I don't expect Edge to go to AEW. I believe him to be loyal to WWE. I think that if WWE were to give him what he was looking for, which was, a rumor that went round, then I think he would re-sign with WWE, and this could just be a contract dispute. He could be closer to going to AEW than ever, because he could be closer to leaving WWE than ever, He may never have been this close to leaving WWE, which means he's closer to joining AEW, but it doesn't mean that he is joining AEW. So it's one of them. I'll believe it when I see it, right? If Edge is coming into AEW and he comes in, I'll believe it when I see it. And I will be shocked, right? Unless it leaks that he has signed and this is where he debuts and it's done deal, matter of fact, and that comes out in The Observer or Sean Ross Sapp or whatever, I'll believe Edge going into AEW when I see it. I'm just still of the opinion that WWE... Put yourself in WWE's shoes. Why would you allow a star the size of Edge to go to AEW, and AEW are struggling so much for momentum? They've got MJF as champion. They're doing this thing with Adam Cole. I find it to be 50-50. I don't find it to be something that I'm madly in love with, but many do. Many do. I know that I'm alone, not alone, but in the minority, right? And I'm fine with that. But they're still getting ratings around like the 800 odd mark. I know last week was better, but last week was sort of a pay-per-view, right? I mean, it was Arthur Ashe, it was Grand Slam. And they still didn't break the million, right? That was them putting all their eggs, every egg they've got went into the basket last week, and they didn't break the million. Still good number, 900 odd thousand, not down on it. But, if you're WWE, why do you want to see a rival company get momentum? Why do you want to see a rival company get any kind of boost? Any kind of boost. Why would you want to see that? And they got money because they're saving on CM Punk now. So that there's money there. That, and Tony's just got money anyway. So for him to, break the bank to go and get Edge, I mean, that has got to be good news for AEW, hasn't it? There's that I can't see anything but good news there. I can't see anything but good news, unless he comes in and gets injured. And it all goes like Bret Hart WCW, right? And it all goes a bit sour and a bit south. Unless that happens, then why would you do that? I mean, the only reason that Vince let Bret go in 97 was because he just didn't have the money to pay for it. He didn't have the money. But this company that has just been sold to Endeavor, that's been valued at $9 billion, you're telling me that we haven't got the money to keep Edge around? It doesn't add up, does it? I can't be the only one looking at this going, hang on. This looks to me like it's 2 + 2 and it's getting to 7, and I don't know how we're doing it. How are they going to let Edge go? Why would they let Edge go? Put an offer in front of him that he simply cannot refuse. Do that. Or if he's that adamant that it's this or retirement, well then, okay. And I know the argument would be, before he retires, he might really want to wrestle Kenny Omega. I get that. I think that's a very fair argument, because he may want to wrestle Kenny Omega, and he may really want to wrestle MJF, and he might really want to wrestle Ricky Starks. But, if I'm WWE, my goal would be to find people in WWE that he would want to wrestle just as much, and then try to make that just as appealing as facing these names that he hasn't wrestled. That's the only reason I could see him going. And I know there's people out there that are like, oh, nah, he'll go because of Christian. Listen, Christian's benefiting by not having Edge around. It's in Christian's benefit for Edge to not come in, right? What Christian doesn't need right now is Edge, because Christian is on his own. He's getting TV time. He's cutting promos. He's doing some great heel work. Why does he need Edge to come and overshadow him again? Why does he need Edge to come in and completely steal the spotlight from him? He doesn't. That is not in Christian's benefit, right? Christian is getting a bit of, do you know what? Christian has stepped out of the shadow of Edge into the spotlight, into the sunlight, and he's shining, he's growing, he's showing that he is someone that deserves just as much respect, man. So if I'm Edge, I've got to see that. I've got to be seeing that. I've got to be seeing that that's happening, and that Christian is really benefiting by not being known as my sidekick, right? Unfortunately, Christian has been labelled the Marty Jannetty of that relationship, and so Christian is thriving without Edge being around. That's not a reason for him to go there. That is not a reason for him to go there. Plus, they're still friends. Like, they can hang out. They don't have to work together. They have already worked together. So I'm struggling to see that as a draw. I'm struggling to see that as a reason as to why Edge is desperate to go there. Like, what, he can't live without Christian? Come on. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that. I think that it's a case that it's... if he is going to go, I think it's a case it's because there's people over there like Kenny, like MJF, that he wants to work with. There's people out over there that he's like, it would be such a waste if I end my career and I never get that Kenny Omega match, right? That is one that I have no argument for. You know, if he values that over a crazy number that WWE put in front of him, then there's not much anyone can do. And I at least would understand why he's done it then. But short of that, I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand why he would go to a company that's main show is getting 800,000, right? I mean, it ain't going to be a big boost to Edge's brand. It'll be a boost to AEW, but it ain't going to be a massive boost to Edge's brand. So I don't get that. I don't get the Christian argument because, as I said, I don't think it's a good thing for Christian. I think it's worse. So I don't get that. The only thing I get is the dream match stuff. That's the only thing I get. The only thing I get. But then this is WWE's opportunity to go, okay, yeah, we appreciate your honesty. We appreciate like where you're coming from. But we can sit down and go through a list now of dream matches for you. And we can commit to, ticking them off over the next 12 months and give you a pay increase of this much and give you the world title. Like, we will make sure you have a run with the belt that Seth's got at the moment, right? So that you can get back to the mountaintop and enjoy that moment. We'll commit to giving you that moment, right? I mean, are you giving him too much there? Maybe. But I think it looks like he's playing hardball, doesn't it? It looks like he's playing hardball. It looks like he knows what he wants. And it's going to be down to WWE to match that or better it so that he re-signs with them. And it might mean, here's a world title run. Here's a bit more money. Give us a list of people you want to work with. I don't care if it's flipping scripts. Right, we'll do it. We'll make it work. We'll find a way. So that's my 2 cents on the Edge situation. As I said, my thinking as to why I don't believe he goes to AEW has not changed. The news is interesting from Better Wrestling Experience, but it might also be explainable. And the explanation might be that it's not so much that he's closer than ever going to AEW. It might be that he's closer than ever from like leaving WWE. And once he becomes a free agent, well, then it becomes a lot easier to get Edge, doesn't it? If he re-signs with WWE, game over. If he becomes a free agent and decides retirement, well, people can be coaxed out of retirement. So it's without being in the room and knowing what conversations have happened between him and Tony, and him and WWE, or if there's going to be another round of negotiations, or if there is going to be that 12-hour final second, conversation of, listen, how about this? Because why would you let him go? Why would WWE let him go? There's not many people with the star power of Edge, right? He is a big name, Attitude Era. Anyone connected to the flipping Attitude Era is obviously highly regarded. So I just don't know if you was WWE, why you would not put all your flipping eggs in that basket and do what you can to secure it. Jeff Hardy overshadowed Matt. Never heard you say anything about that, but Edge can never team with Christian. Jeff Hardy overshadowed Matt. I agree with that. Never heard you say anything about that. Well, he did. There you go. But Edge can never team with Christian. No, it's not that Edge can't team with Christian. He can team with Christian. But if he does team with Christian, Edge is going to overshadow him. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. Like, he overshadows him. Simple as that. He's the bigger star, isn't he? He's achieved more. He had a bigger singles run. He's probably searched for more on the internet, sold more merchandise, certainly been used in more prominent positions than WWE. Christian, right now, I don't see why this would even be debatable. He's standing on his own 2 feet, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's doing a brilliant job, isn't he? Christian, I've had praise for him as we broke down the cards. I think he's doing brilliant as a heel. So I want to see Christian continue to walk that path on his own. I want him to continue to show everyone, the world, that how good he is. I'm on Christian's side in all of this. I want him to continue to prove that he isn't just the Marty Jannetty of that group. I didn't watch Christian in TNA, so it might be that he has already shown this to a lot of people that watch TNA. I think that Christian did a lot on his own in WWE, but the problem you've got is you can always say that Edge did more, and you can always say that Edge achieved more. You know, Marty Jannetty won the Intercontinental Championship in WWE, but he ain't what Shawn achieved. And, you know, even though Christian got a world title in WWE, he didn't go on to achieve what Edge achieved. You know, Edge main evented WrestleMania and did all of that. I feel like it's undeniable that Christian didn't achieve the same level of star power, star success, achievements as what Edge did. I mean, I can't find any debate to be had with that as a conversation. So for Christian now to be killing it on his own and to say, I'd rather Edge not go in. If he does go in, I'll stand by it. If he does go in, I'll completely stand by it. I still hope he doesn't team with Christian. I want him to work on his own. I want Edge to have his match with Kenny Omega, have his match with Ricky Starks, you know, have a little backstage thing with Christian, but keep them apart. I wouldn't put them together. I just don't think that is in Christian's benefit. I just don't think it's in Christian's benefit. But no, was Matt overshadowed by Jeff Hardy? Yep. Save the clip. Save the clip. You've heard me say it. Edge has nothing to do with Christian's run in AEW. It will add more to know who is the best between both of them in a big pay-per-view match. You could put them against each other. I don't mind that. Yeah. Because at least then Christian is standing his own ground and is the heel in a battle with Edge. And it'd be even better if Christian went over. That would be even better. So, again, anything that's going to allow them to showcase and continue to showcase the work that Christian's been doing, 100%, yeah. So I don't mind a match between them, but I wouldn't put them together in a tag team so that they're having to share the spotlight at the same time and be on the same page and work together as a tag team. I wouldn't do that. But putting them in a one-off match where they can go their separate ways afterwards and Christian can continue down his path and Edge can continue down his. Absolutely. Big Time said, do you remember WWE tried to retain Bryan? There was talks about partnering with New Japan, a light schedule, more money, but Bryan had made his mind he wanted to go to AEW. There's not much that you can do. That is true. The only thing I would say about Daniel Bryan, though, is that he's a very different wrestler to Edge. I mean, maybe Edge always wanted to be a Ring of Honor and all of that, but Daniel Bryan was an independent wrestler and one of the absolute greatest before he joined WWE. He had a long run and made a lot of friendships and relationships that meant a lot to him. And he could then go back to those after WWE. So I think that Daniel Bryan was certainly, don't want to say made by WWE, because that is, I mean, amongst wrestling fans, that's not true. Because Daniel Bryan had such a big presence on the indie scene. He was king of the indies. I mean, Ring of Honor champion, wars in Ring of Honor. I mean, those matches with Nigel McGuinness. So for me, you know, Daniel Bryan has got a very healthy, successful career before WWE. He then comes into WWE, goes to a whole different level. But then I can understand what, with time running out, of him wanting to go back and work with some of those people he'd worked with in the past. And maybe some of the new talent that was coming through. Daniel Bryan is a wrestler who loves wrestling. And I think that he made it work in WWE where he could lean into the sports entertainment aspect of things. And he could become a sports entertainer. But I think him going back to the world of wrestling, if you want to differentiate them, like, you know, if you do want to say that WWE is sports entertainment, which Vince does, and the, you know, real wrestling operates outside of that, then I think that Daniel Bryan did want to go back to that. I can't comment for Edge. Maybe Edge wants to experience that, as we said. Maybe he wants to have a taste of that and, you know, be competing against some of that talent that's out there. But I feel like Daniel is different to Edge. I feel like Edge is someone that is more a sports entertainer and is not so much a Ring of Honor champion, or someone that I think, I don't know, I've never really got the impression that he would really care about going after like Ring of Honor titles, or, you know, testing himself against, like, you know, I don't know, some newcomer that's coming, like Vikingo or something like this. Like, I would imagine that Danielson looks at Zack Sabre, looks at Vikingo, and, you know, really wants to get in there with them. I would imagine that Edge probably has a respect for them, but is quite happy in the sports entertainment world. That's always been my interpretation of Edge. They're different people that have had different paths. So I think WWE saying, look, we'll try and get a deal with New Japan. We'll try and get you the matches that you want. We want to keep you around. It's true. Sometimes you can do all of that and it just doesn't work. It's just not possible to keep some people. I always felt, though, that Edge was different. I always felt that Edge was WWE. A bit like Randy. I can't imagine Randy going to AEW. Can't imagine Randy Orton or John Cena. Can't imagine either of those going to, you know. But again, maybe if Randy's, you know, been told, listen, you're pretty much done, you could probably get by for one more year. Maybe that does something silly to you. Maybe that does something funny to you. Perhaps all of a sudden you start thinking about some of those indie matches that you could have now, you know? Maybe you start thinking about, well, you only live one life. Maybe I should see what it's like in Ring of Honor, or see what it's like in a different company. Or, I don't know. I don't know if there's something to that where you do start to think there's more to wrestling than just WWE. Maybe I should experience it once. I don't know. But there's a few. Undertaker, John Cena, Randy Orton, and I would include Edge in this conversation, are people that I perceive as being lifers with WWE. People that, you know, that this is their brand. They help build. This is the house that they help build. You know, don't forget, like 95, 96, WWE's not in a good place. You know, financially, it's not good. I remember Triple H telling the story of him and Stone Cold peering through the curtain, seeing a crowd of a few thousand. It was like that on a regular basis. And just saying, do you think it'll ever get back to the heights of Hulkamania? Do you think we'll ever get back to like what it was like when Hogan was on top? And they were like, you know, talking about that. And literally fast forward a couple of years, maybe not even that. And the Attitude Era is kicking in, and it's going to an even greater height. Like, it's even more red hot, arguably, than when Hulkamania was around. So, like, that Attitude Era really took the company from struggling to being well on its road, well on its path to the most recent sale, where it went sold for like $9 billion. The Attitude Era is critical to that. It is critical. So I think to say that, like, you know, Triple H, Edge, you know, people around at that time, like, they did help build what WWE is now. But everyone's on a different path, aren't they? I mean, you know, Matt Hardy's been to Impact. You know, the Hardys have been in and out so many times. I think if the Hardys had stuck with WWE since the Attitude Era and had not left and come back and had all those wellness violations and whatever, they would also be ones that I would say I would expect them to stay with WWE. But, you know, there's been so much that's gone on there where they've been let go and come back in again and gone again that, you know, obviously that hurts, doesn't it? That affects loyalty, of course it does. And they've worked for other companies and they've made other friends and they've got other relationships. So, as I said, you know, had they have stuck around, I would have included Hardys in that, but I don't include them in it because obviously they've been to Impact and they've worked all these other promotions. And they've been very on-off with WWE, but Edge hasn't. The only reason Edge went away was because of that injury. But even then, they still had him under contract. And he was doing stuff like the Edge and Christian Totally Reeks of Awesomeness show. So, you know, Edge is an interesting one. As I said, an interesting one. But look, we can talk and speculate and, you know, rumors and everything till the cows come home because we just don't know. There hasn't been any like development on it until today where Better Wrestling Experience, who have, you know, been known to get stuff correct in the past, have come out and said that it's looking like Edge is getting closer than ever to joining AEW. I didn't see any further detail on that. I don't know what that means, as I said. But a development and one that's definitely worth keeping an eye on. James said, we all know the first thing Tony Khan would do is have Edge and Christian against the Hardys in a ladder match. Wrestledream next year. Wrestledream next year. Let's go. We're 30 minutes away from AEW Dynamite. Let's prepare for Wrestledream, says Tony Khan. Tony Khan in the chats. Yeah, I said that we would do quick predictions, didn't we? So feel free to do predictions. I'm going to end the poll as well because we might need the poll option for, I don't know, some point tonight. Big thank you to everyone that just voted in the poll. 82% saying that the audio sounds better, which is fantastic. So I'm taking that as a positive. So 82%, that can't be bad. If I got 82% on an exam, I'd be over the moon. I'd also wonder why I'd taken an exam, but, you know, doesn't matter. If we go to Wrestledream Wikipedia, we'll have a look at the card. We'll blast down. Feel free to put in your thoughts. We spoke about our excitement level for the show, and we did it in a very scientific way by talking about how excited we was for each match. That then gave us a bit of a score at the end. And honestly, I'm at about a 7.25, 7.5. It's a good card. I genuinely think it's a good card. Let's start with the matches I'm not so fussed with, work our way up, right? So, the Young Bucks, Guns, Lucha Bros, Orange Cassidy Hook. I think we know what this is going to be. It's going to be a spot fest. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be like stadium stampedes. It's going to be just, you know, bodies going everywhere, multi-person spots, all that kind of stuff. I think we've done FTR books. I don't know that we need to go back to that. Have we done FTR guns? I feel like we have. I don't think Orange Cassidy and Hook will be the ones. I don't think they'll be the ones. I might be leaning towards Lucha Bros because I don't know that we've done FTR Lucha Bros. But, I mean, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, my FTR knowledge is not very good because I don't watch Collision. So, I don't watch Collision. I don't watch Rampage. I'm just having to think about what I've seen on Dynamite. And to be honest, I haven't seen loads of FTR on Dynamite. And I can't recall FTR Lucha Bros like recently. We may have got it at some point in the past, but it would have been a long time ago. So Lucha Bros are a big deal. They're a big tag team. We've already done the Bucks. I think we've already done the Guns. So I am going to go with the Lucha Bros on that. Don't feel brilliant about it. Actually, that might be what we use the poll for. Let's go with who wins. So this is quite a good one actually because it's 4 different people, 4 different teams that you can select from. So the Guns, Lucha Bros, OC, and Hook. Then what's the other one? Who's the other one? The other one? Why can't I remember the other one? Guns, Lucha Bros. Oh, Bucks. Young Bucks. Young Bucks. There we go. Okay. So we'll put that in a poll. I'm going to go Lucha Bros, but I don't feel great about it. Chris Statlander, Julia Hart. Surely Chris Statlander. Surely. Eddie Kingston against Shibata. Thinking Eddie Kingston. Shibata could get the strong openweight championship, but would he be the Ring of Honor World Champion? I'm gonna go Eddie. I mean, he only just recently got that Ring of Honor belt, so to lose it already would be a real shame. I'm gonna go Eddie. Christian Cage against Darby Allin. Christian. I mean, there'll be some cheating in there, but Christian. I think Christian will get it. Chris Jericho, Golden Elite against the Don Callis family. Don Callis family have only just come together. It was only last week that Sammy turned on Jericho. We've had Takeshita. Will Ospreay has sort of been around. I feel like we need to cement the Don Callis family as a legit faction, as the real deal. So I'm going to say that the Don Callis family pick up the win there. I mean, Jericho beat Sammy. So, you know, you could have Sammy pin Jericho this time, giving the Don Callis family the victory. So I'm going to go with the Don Callis family. Better Than You, baby, against the Righteous. It's got to be Better Than You, baby, I would imagine, unless we're just going to try and find a way of getting the belt off them. The curveball here could be Adam Cole's injury, because we don't even know if we're going to get this match. Tony said that as of right now, it looked like it was going to happen, but it wasn't very convincing. So, a little bit torn on this one. I'm going to say Better Than You, baby. But if they want to get the belts off them so that we can focus on moving that story forwards, the Righteous would be a pretty good team to have as Ring of Honor tag champs. Wouldn't it be a pretty good team to have as the Ring of Honor tag champs? So you could make the switch. But I'm gonna go with Better Than You, baby. FTR against Aussie Open. I'm going to go with FTR. I think this means I've got no title changes, which maybe there will be one in there. But I think I've gone with all the champs retaining, because a lot of these people have only had the belts recently. I think FTR, by the looks of things, are the ones that have had the belts the longest, I think. All the others look like they've only recently got their belts. So, and I don't think FTR are going to lose theirs. So I'm going to say champs retain. Hangman Adam Page against Swerve Strickland. Hangman don't need this. Well, Hangman doesn't need it. Hangman's had years and years of like stories and wins and world championship reigns. Swerve needs this. If you're going to do anything with Swerve, you got to give him key wins. You can't build him up and then have him lose when he finally makes it to the dance. You can't dress him up, right? Get him looking good, slapping the aftershave on, jumping in the limo, get into the dance, meeting up with his mates, having a little bit of the punch, feeling out the vibe, right? Is ready to rock and roll. And then he never gets a dance. And he ends up going home alone. Can't do that to Swerve. You can't do that to Swerve. You gotta let him get the girl. So Hangman against Swerve. You gotta give Swerve the chance, man. You gotta give him the go. And then our main event. Wow. What do you do with this? So Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. Bryan Danielson, to me, strikes me as a lovely guy. And I think that Bryan Danielson is not going to care about losing that match, right? Because I don't think that that's what Danielson is bothered about, right? I think Danielson, Danielson keeps winning this most technical wrestler awards because he is the best technical wrestler. Now, yes, you do need to have a bit of success in order to win that awards because you need to be facing key opponents that bring the best out in you, and you need to be on the show consistently, right? If you're someone like Akira Tozawa, you're probably not in with a chance of winning best technical wrestler because even if you are great, you can't get on the show, right? And if you do face someone, it's going to be in a squash. So you do need to get to a certain level to even be in with a chance of winning best technical wrestler. So what I would say is I don't think Danielson's going to care about losing the match. What he's going to care about is proving he is the better technical wrestler. And you don't necessarily prove that by winning the match, right? You prove it by putting in a mind-blowing performance. You do it by shining, even in defeat. And if you can blow people's minds and just put in a performance of the ages, think about a thing like Macho Man Ricky Steamboat. I mean, everyone praises Macho Man Ricky Steamboat. It's regarded as one of the greatest matches of all time, certainly in WWE history and certainly in WrestleMania history. WrestleMania 3, Macho Man Ricky Steamboat. Macho loses. Steamboat wins. And I mean, that's not something that's ever focused on. This is my point. The performance, the magnitude of that match, the way that match is held in such high regards is so much bigger than the result. People don't talk about the result. They talk about the match and the impact the match had. I think Danielson will be a lot more focused on delivering a match that has... You're probably not going to get an impact the same as Macho Steamboat in 2023 because, Macho Steamboat changed the game. I mean, Macho mapped that match out, scripted it, they hammered it, they rehearsed it, at a time where that just was not standard practice. And so they could go out there and put on a thrilling encounter, right? A match that is just so fun to watch, even today. In the landscape of what wrestling was like at the time, that thing really stood out and meant a lot. Now that kind of scripting happens on a much more regular basis. You have producers that help produce each match and will go through key spots, planned spots. I mean, we talk all the time about spot fests. They don't just happen, right? They're planned. So it's going to be so hard to kind of have an impact, but that's what Danielson's going to want to achieve. That's going to be what he's going to want to try and do in that match. Not so much about, I have to win it. The only way I can prove I'm better than Zack Sabre Jr. is by winning it. That's what he'll tell you in the promos, because that's what he's got to tell you. But the truth is, it'll be a lot more important to have a banger. It'll be a lot more important to have a match that people definitely give 5 stars to. And definitely hold in high regard as being a match of the year contender. That's what he's looking for. So I say Zack Sabre wins. I think Zack Sabre wins. I don't think Danielson's going to be too bothered about the result of that match. The only thing that might just step in the way could be Tony Khan, because Tony might not want one of his big guys losing a match like that, because to the average casual fan, it might not send a great message that Danielson has lost to this guy that they've never heard of and someone that they don't see in AEW. Like, you know, do you bring Zack Sabre in just to make Danielson looks good? Because you got one last year of Danielson. He said he's promised his daughter he's going to be out of wrestling in 12 months' time. So we've probably got 12 months left. So if you're Tony Khan, are you thinking, I need to build this guy up for the last 12 months, get as much out of him as I can, and then, you know, what will be. Like, will Tony veto a Zack Sabre Jr. win? If left to their own device, if this was on the indie scene and Tony weren't involved and all that stuff, I reckon Zack Sabre wins. But with Tony involved, AEW wanting to use Daniel as the figurehead for Collision, blah, 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 blah. Could it be that he steps in and insists on a Danielson victory? Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It would be a shame if Daniel Bryan didn't win the AEW title before his retirement, says the Killer. Sammy Guevara with interference from the Don Callis family. It would build Sammy's heel persona. Steamboat changed the angle with Starks. What if what they planned sounded boring? Steamboat made it better, says James. You can tell that this is a fake Tony Khan joining us because he never talks about international viewers. Yeah, was it James? Who was it? Someone sent me a tweet. Apparently, the London Council are saying that AEW All In or All Out, whatever one it was 85,000 now. They're saying 85,000. So there's different numbers. I sent a tweet out saying, poor Will Ospreay. In my mind, Will Ospreay's got that, you know, I competed in front of this many people. And he famously put a video up going, May, I just got this done. It says 81,000. Now you're telling me it was 72 that was in the building or whatever. In my mind, he's just crossing numbers out and putting in the one he thinks is correct. now London Council have said 85,000. That one's out. We've got another one. By the time he retires, it's going to be like all down his arm, all on his hands and everything. Just all these various numbers. Poor guy is never. Do you know what? It turns out there was one person there and a load of mirrors. One person there and a ton of mirrors. God bless him. God bless him. God bless that whole attendance conversation. Right, we are 12 minutes away from going to AEW. Days NXT did 636. Wow. That's miles off. What did I say? 760, 740, something like that. I said decline because Becky wins the title. Next week dropped just a little. I thought it would drop more. But even if Becky had been advertised for this week's show, I think we would have stepped down again. So had Becky have been advertised and she'd been on the show, I think, 800 and summer going to 800 summer. In my mind, top end 700s, but she wasn't on the show. So in my mind, take a bit more off because actually she didn't turn out to be on the show. And I think by the time you got past the video package, can't remember when that was played, you probably knew it meant that Becky wasn't going to be on the show. So if you was waiting for her, you probably went at that point. So in my mind, yeah, kind of mid 700s is what I was expecting. But it came out at what? What was it? Where was it? Big time 636, man. That's a crash, isn't it? That is a crash. Was it up against something? Down nearly 200,000. I don't understand. What happened? Does anyone know what happened? How did it crash nearly like 200,000 people? it's sort of that blessing and curse that can pull giant numbers, but it's not sustainable if you go a week or two without the main roster. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would have thought that it would be a case that it was basically her having a match, but it was going to be a handicap, and then eventually that it got turned into a tag match. Kiana James, who, you know, casual fans don't know Kiana James. I think casual fans know Tiffany because she's been on Raw in the crowd. They've shown her off. They probably don't really know her, but at least they know she's the girl that Becky got the title from. I don't think casuals know Lyra Valkyria, but you've got to do that. You know, as I've said, Becky is down there to show off some of the other women. Like, you can't shove other women in that match. But it wasn't a title defense, was it? They could have had Becky defend the title on Raw NXT last week. Instead, she was in a tag match, which, had she have lost, she still would have left as champion. So it's tricky. I think I would have been tempted to have done Becky in a title defense. I'm a fighting champion. I might not be in NXT for long because, you know, I know that my place is back on Raw. But whilst I've got this title, I'm going to defend it. And something along those lines. I think people looked at how Becky was used in that second week and went, I don't need to watch this. I'll wait for them to advertise her next title match, kind of a situation. So actually, I think that the number this week is probably a result of not this week, but a result of the week before. And people being like, yeah, nah. Yeah, I don't need that. Didn't need to watch that. But, you know, it's only positive because you've got a monster couple of weeks for NXT. You've managed to show off some of that talent in front of some new people. Even if those people have now gone, at least they've been exposed to what you're doing. At least there's an awareness now as to what you're doing and, you know, what night you operate on. And maybe they're familiar with some more names than they were before. And but to then crash to like 630 odd thousand is there's no dressing that up as anything but bad, to be honest. I mean, I know that it's still a fine rating for NXT. I mean, 600 odd thousand is kind of what they do, so, you know, that's kind of a normal week. But to crash so hard and not even just gradually waft your way down, you know? It's not like this week was 750, next week 720, the week after that 700, the week after that 680. We've just gone, bye. Oh, this is good. Woo! Proper roller coaster, man. Proper roller coaster. That's a harsh drop, man. It's a harsh drop. Oof. Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. It is so interesting when you do look at the TV ratings. If you do take that time to just have a look at it and just see how different things are playing out, I think there are definitely lessons to learn from it. I tell you what would be more interesting, and obviously they will never ever do this, but oh my God, it would make the flipping network just so amazing. And that would be if you could just get a camera behind scenes, just even a glimpse at just some sort of conversation going on, you know? Even if it's just a bit where Triple H gets the ratings and he goes, oh, or Sean gets the rating, oh, ratings are in, boys. And that's it. That's all you get. Just his reaction to it. You don't hear any breakdown or anything like that. But every week you just get Sean's reaction. Oh. Okay, yeah. That would make that, just that alone would make the network $9.99, however much it is, totally worth it. There was no competition, but it was still number one on cable. It keeps disappearing after I download. We are less than 10 minutes away. 6 minutes away. 6 minutes away. Frohike said, why does it have to be AEW, WWE? Can't we enjoy it all? Impact as well. Be thankful that we have more products. Not how it works. It's not how AEW have positioned themselves, or how WWE have positioned themselves. You know, they've made themselves very clear that they see the other as an enemy. Tony Khan has said that they're at war, and so it's fired the fan bases up. So trying to settle the fan bases down when you've got people firing them up in like much more powerful positions is, I think, going to be a fruitless task. Let's put it that way. I don't know that peace is going to be achieved when leaders are using the kind of language that we've seen being used on both sides, you know. Triple H as well. Tony Khan is getting serious in the war with WWE, even coming to Daze's stream to promote Dynamite. Salute, sir. Yeah, nah, listen, Tony, I really appreciate it. And I tell you as well, I really appreciate you coming in the stream and not coming around my house, because one thing I don't need is one of them hugs, right? Because I would literally die of cringe. I would die of cringe. And I've got enough about my life that I could die of cringe about anyway. I don't need another thing. So I appreciate you coming in, promoting Dynamite. Much love to you. But please tell your referees to count 3 when the shoulders are down and it's clear that they're down, right? Because they don't. And it's not just that one, is it? Because we all saw Aubrey with that Jade match going back a little bit as well. So it seems to be a pandemic. There's a pandemic of not being able to count to 3 going on in your company. So please resolve that. And also, please stop hugging people in that creepy way, right? Because it's not a good look. And also, please hire someone that can enforce backstage, right? And not allow things to get like so out of control, right? It can't be fun. Not for you. Not for anyone, right? It's probably not so good. So think about hiring someone that can keep those children in line. I've counted how many shows I've got on my Fight Watch later list. I gave up after I got to 200. I'd give up if I had more than 3, to be honest. I couldn't watch that much. I couldn't watch that much. Follow all those stories and follow all those wrestlers and everything. I just don't think I'd be able to do it. I wouldn't know if I was coming or going. I wouldn't know what show I was watching on any which day. I'd probably getting confused with like story. But hang on, isn't he with? No, that's the other show. I couldn't do it, man. I have respect for your mental capability. Tony said, I'm here to say there is no war. Right, this is fake Tony Khan. Between WWE, we counter when we have to, and at times there have been dirty tactics, but I still have nothing but great respect for that company. But you know what? I wish you would say that publicly rather than just in the stream. When you come out and do like the dance with Garcia, can you just grab a microphone and say that as well? Because it might just help settle down the atmosphere, you know? It's a very heated atmosphere out there, Tony. And I'm sorry, Tony, but you have played a big part in that. I'm sorry. You have. Your comments have fueled that. You're not alone. WWE have as well. 2 sides to every story. But it would be nice to get a little bit of respect being shown, wouldn't it? That would go some way. If and it would probably have to be AEW showing respect to WWE. I don't think WWE are going to be showing much respect. Although, I said this the other day, did you see when Jade was announced for WWE? They were like, as first reported by ESPN. When you clicked on that article, then you could see that there was loads of stuff about AEW in there. Loads of information. How she won the TBS title and her and Red Velvet and longest reigning champion in AEW. Loads. And AEW was mentioned. All Elite Wrestling was mentioned. Individual wrestlers were mentioned. Achievements were mentioned. I was shocked. I really didn't think they would mention AEW in the ESPN thing. That's all they did. Coach Co said, I turn the hot dog water into ice cubes for people I don't like. wonder if you could do that for dogs. Dogs might appreciate that. And turned pee into lemonade. Do you want some fresh lemonade with ice cubes? I would. If I went round your house, I would, because you've just said that you do those kind of things to people you don't like. But I think we've got a very healthy relationship, so I would feel very confident that I would be fine. And we're all going to be fine, because right now we are going over to AEW Dynamite. It's going to be in Seattle. We are in, I want to say, Colorado. There's a sign that says no mids allowed. 20-minute time limit. We're going straight into a match here. International Championship. Oh, yeah, because we got a new champ, haven't we? Okay, International Championship. So, Phoenix. I mean, is he meant to be International Champion? Beat John Moxley, he sure did, for the international title on last week's show. A very impressive victory. Okay, Ray Phoenix, I actually... Did they say who he was facing? I don't remember seeing him on the graphic. Was he on the graphic? Did I just block him out? No, okay. Okay, that at least... Mentally, I was like, have I just blocked him out? Was he on the graphic and I just don't remember this? But it wasn't on the graphic. So, Phoenix against Jeff Jarrett. Let's go! Let's go! I tell you what, in your face to all of you that say that Dynamite is like struggling to keep a hold of viewers. When we are opening with Phoenix coming fresh off delivery, handing out a juicy concussion, is taking on Jeff Jarrett in 2023. Let's go. Phoenix comes crashing down on Jeff Jarrett. Underway with this week's show. So, as we said, this wasn't one that was on that graphic. Phoenix into the barricade. Crossbody there by Phoenix to open things up. Jeff Jarrett with a chair to the midsection. Dude's got a nice Macho Man shirt. Chop coming in. And he's got the World Heavyweight Championship around his waist as well. Phoenix, head scissors to Jay Lethal. Karen Jarrett comes round and uses her fingernails to rake the back of Phoenix. Ooh, he grabbed her by the throat, man. Grabbed her by the throat? I think he realized it wasn't a good look, so he grabbed her by the throat and quickly, quickly moved his hands. Top rope enziguri by Phoenix. There's also tonight a 3-way blind eliminator for an international title shot next week. We've got MJF and Adam Cole. They're going to be doing promos. The match has now started, and Karen. Aubrey is putting on gloves, so there must be some blood somewhere. I haven't seen it, though. Kick coming in there by Jeff Jarrett. There's a woman in the front row who has written a sign on shiny paper, but the problem is when the light hits it, all you can see is like rainbow-like colours. You can't actually see what the sign says. So unless we're going to get close... She's in the front row. She's not even holding it up. Her sign game is very poor. Let me know what it says if anyone can actually read it. I think she's put it away now, probably out of shame. Kick coming in there by Phoenix. Shot coming into Jeff Jarrett. Kick by Phoenix. I don't know how much that kick actually connected. Satnam's jumped up on the edge of the ring. Is Aubrey going to say anything? No? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Or Aubrey might go over and be like, get down. Not bothered. Jeff Jarrett's down. Phoenix is down. Oh, there's a bit of blood. He's got a little nick just on his forehead, Jeff Jarrett. Bit of blood coming down. Crowd are chanting, let's go, Phoenix. Jeff Jarrett in the ring. Aubrey coming over, separating both apart. Karen is choking Phoenix out on that bottom rope. We're still going to hear from the Don Callis family. Stomp coming in there by Jeff Jarrett. Phoenix rolls into the middle of the ring. MJF Adam Cole is coming up. So Adam Cole's going to be on the... He went hard in the corner, man. Jeff Jarrett just hurled him hard. That looked good. Sounded good. Still to come tonight, Christian Cage, Darby Allin. LA Dark Knight said, if you was on a zombie apocalypse or stuck on an island, what 5 wrestlers would you choose to get you out of a sticky situation? Don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking you need some smart people, don't you? You need some smart people that have got some, like, brains about them. I'm thinking Larry Poffo, because he was the genius in WWE. I'm thinking Damian Sandow, because we know that, again, in WWE, he was... He was better than all of us. That's he was cut from a different cloth. I've got to think highly educated, and might be able to help us work things out. Maybe Dean Douglas as well. Dean Douglas, bit of a name from the new generation. He would also be of use. I don't think we've ever had a wrestling rocket scientist, have we? To be honest. But that's what I'd be thinking. I want people with brain power that's going to help me figure out how to get off this flipping island. So yeah, Dean Douglas, Damian Sandow, Leaping Larry Poffo, the genius. Maybe Bobby the Brain. Bobby the Brain Heenan, eh? Got to have the brain involved. Bobby the Brain Heenan. Let's go. L.A. MJ R-Truth said Chads. Vince is a good shout, actually. Vince. He's got money, isn't he? If nothing else, people will be looking for him because there'll be a good reward. So, you know, if brain power fails, and Vince has certainly got some brain power, but if that fails, we can always revert to plan B. Big reward. Massive reward. Come and save us. Good conversations as well. If you're on a desert island, being stuck on an island with Vince, just imagine all the conversations you could have. Amazing. Chop coming in there by Phoenix. So this match back in the ring as Phoenix is hobbling, and I think he's picked up an injury here. He rolls through, goes for a clothesline, goes over to the outsides. Jeff Jarrett kicks Phoenix to the outsides. Jeff Jarrett was like hobbling. Jeff Jarrett was hobbling. Phoenix was hobbling. They're trying to get round to Phoenix. Now we've got some Aubrey, Karen Jarrett stuff. There's an Aubrey chant from the crowd. We had plans, but thing changed. We are a diverse company with many nationalities. The future is bright with many stars, says Tony Khan. I'm surprised you're still here, Tony, to be honest, mate. what with Dynamite being on. Shoulder tackle there by Phoenix. And again, shoulder tackle by Phoenix. Phoenix going over to the corner. Phoenix, top rope. In the middle, arm drag. Jeff Jarrett down. Double stomp by Phoenix. Double stomp. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Phoenix looks like his movement's a little better now, but there's still a bit of discomfort there. Excalibur said Phoenix is trying to fight through the pain. Phoenix going up top. Right now he's perched. Runs on the rope. That looked good. Kick Jay Lethal. He goes down in the ring though. Now we've got Sanjay. Low blow there from Jeff Jarrett. Inside cradle. 2. Kick out by Phoenix. So Karen is screaming at Aubrey. Okay, Phoenix against the rope, middle of the ring, goes for a clothesline, kick to the midsection by Jeff Jarrett. Picks up Phoenix, looking for a power bomb, no joy. Working on the arm. Face first. Jeff Jarrett looking for the cover. Phoenix is by the rope. Foot on the rope. Foot by the rope, and the Jeff Jarrett is right in Aubrey's face. Satnam Singh is on the edge of the ring. Well, he get DQ'd, won't he? Jeff Jarrett just hurled Phoenix towards Satnam. If Satnam had done something, he would have been DQ'd. I don't get it. Phoenix rolls up Jeff Jarrett, gets the 3. What was the logic there at the end? I'm going to throw Phoenix in Satnam so that Satnam can nail him right in front of the referee. Phoenix on the outside of the ring, grabbing a hold of his knee. Jeff Jarrett rolls up and defeated. So there we go. First match down. Phoenix retains the international title against Jeff Jarrett. But Aubrey kind of reminds me of Marilyn Manson. Now in my super chat, says Aaron. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see one. Sorry, Days. I should have been more clear, but to be honest, you should be able to read my mind. Fair enough. I'm going to an OTT event in Dublin soon, and I'm going to meet Moxley. OTT over the OTT Wrestling. Saturday, October 28th, the 9th year anniversary. Oh, here's Adam Cole. Here's the Adam Cole thing. I'm just going to have a look at the cards. If the card's there. Okay, Adam Cole, MJF are on a boat. Fist bump. Thank you for bringing me out here, says Adam Cole. You was on the phone with Roddy for a long time, says MJF. You couldn't even come out with me to the ring. I love him too. He's like a brother to me. Okay, MJF puts on the Dynamite Diamond ring and teases that he's going to hit Adam Cole with it. MJF doesn't know that it's normal to have more than one friend. He's never had friends. He's still learning. This is like life advice, isn't it? If you're a kid and, like, you know, you want to know that it's all right to have more than one friend, it is. It is. Okay, so they're fishing. They're screaming. We've got Big Show in a... The hook, you know, when he was fishing, like the hook had gone in his mouth. They managed to catch Big Show. Wow. Wonder why he was out that far. That's a long way out, isn't it? I suppose for us, deep water for him, I mean, like, for us, if we're in deep water, he just stands up, doesn't he? Because he's the Big Show. He has to go right out. He has to go right out to where all the boats go fishing. Because that's when it becomes deep for him. Well, we're still going to hear from them. They're still on the show as well. We've also got shots here of Takeshita and Don Callis in Japan. We're hunting for Kota Ibushi. I like this. We're in Japan. There's a place in the background called Game Panic. Game Panic. Next, we'll hear from the Don Callis family. Yeah, so, Aaron, I had a look to see about this OTT. Thankfully, there is some information available. Not much, though. Over the Top Wrestling, their 9th year anniversary, do you know, comes from the hangar in Wolverhampton, which is really interesting because that's where Trent Seven's show used to be. Trent Seven used to do Fight Club Pro from the hangar in Wolverhampton. I went to that show and I saw the Bucks and I saw Kenny and I saw British Strong Style and Tegan Knox and God knows Penta. Legit, saw them all at that show, which was the best show, one of the best shows I've ever been to. That was at the hangar in Wolverhampton. That's on October 27th. And in fact, it looks that Trent Seven looks to be a part of this. I'm sure that's Trent Seven in the background. So Trent Seven and I can't really make out. It just says featuring John Moxley. Here we go. Kenta, New Japan's Kenta, John Moxley. Do you want to know? Stop listening if you don't want to know. But these are the people that are going to be there, right? And if you don't want to know, stop listening. I don't know if this is a spoiler. I don't know. AEW's John Moxley, New Japan's Kenta, The Draw, don't know them. NLW, don't know NLW, but their champion, Trent Seven. Didn't know that. James probably did. Probably watched it. Session Moth. I know her. I've never seen any of her matches, but I know that she is like pretty big on the independent scene. Is it Session Moth Martha? I think her name is. Big Damo, Robbie X, and much, much more. There's also meet and greets available 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. Poor John Moxley having to come to Wolverhampton. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Poor John Moxley. I mean, you really have hit rock bottom if you're coming over to Wolverhampton, let me tell you. So he's going to Wolves, and then he is going to Dublin the next day. So not staying. Yeah, it looks good. It looks like you could have some fun there. I'm just looking at like some of the other cards they've got coming up. They've got a fair few cards lined up, haven't they? Another one in Dublin. Another one in Wexford. Never even heard of Wexford. Belfast. Milan. They're going to Italy. Who's on that card? Scotty Too Hot. He is on that card. Trent Seven, Session Moth, Renzo Rose. Right. Renee Paquette is in the ring. Let's go. Corey said, thus far, this episode feels like a fever dream. It is a bit strange of an episode, isn't it? Yeah, I don't disagree. Mr. Toxic Black said, do you see Brock versus Seth in the future? You could do it. We've seen it before. You could always go back to it. You could certainly move Brock into that other world title picture and kind of away from the Roman title picture. So, yeah, Seth, Brock going for that world title that Seth's got at the moment. You could totally do it. Totally do it. But do I see Brock Seth in the near future? Don't think so. Only because there's a few other heels that I think could do with facing Seth. And it feels like Gunther. I think Gunther against Brock is definitely a match people would want. Gunther, imagine Gunther against Brock if when Gunther gets that world title. Ooh, let's go. Right, here's the Don Callis family, and there's loud boos coming from the crowds. Renee said it's hard to hear over these boos. Loud boos again. I'm so happy that Sammy Guevara is free of the toxic influence of Chris Jericho. Here's Sammy Guevara then. I love his music, man. And a good look as well. I mean, he's coming out. He loves himself. He's looking cool. Shades on. Looks great. Not sure about the background. That's the only thing I'd say. Like, one side of it is like black. The other side is like grey. I feel like if Sammy's going to come out and look like this on a regular basis, you know, white jeans, bright shirt, like, you know, if he's going to like really look quite Razor Ramon-esque, I sort of feel like that black, grey Tron in the background, I would change that. It looks good, though. He needs a toothpick. Roll the tape. So we're going to see more footage of them in Tokyo. 11:45 in Japan. Inside a room, inside a ring, I'm guessing this is some sort of dojo. Keshta's in there. So we're just seeing what happened when they went looking for Kota Ibushi in Japan. We're seeing them fight. He should throw gum at people, said Chads. Oh, I just nailed him with a wet umbrella. Like a kettlebell? So, now Don Callis comes over. This is very reminiscent of, do you remember Johnny Gargano against Tommaso Ciampa inside that, like, warehouse It's like a little match happening, like a little cinematic pre-recorded match that we're watching. Don Callis telling Ibushi that he's not safe in Seattle. Message sent. Kota Ibushi left lying down in the ring. Booze ringing out. So does that mean that there won't be Kota Ibushi? There won't be the Golden Lovers now, or? Snatches the microphone off Renee. Renee walks out the ring. I'm being painted out to be a bad guy, but I'm the hero. Jericho's the villain. F you, Sammy chants from the crowds. For 4 years, he held me back. Every time I would fly high, he would clip my wings. Loud boos. Chris Jericho is selfish. Now it's time for me to be the champion and the star that I was born to be. He said we'll take everything from Ibushi and Jericho and Omega until there's nothing left but tears. So it looks like we are still getting the match. Yeah, it was alright. It was alright. Maybe the beating up in Japan was a bit long. Maybe there was a bit of confusion as to whether Ibushi was still going to make it or not. Certainly for me. All right. Killed a bit of time, didn't it? Kept us out of trouble. What else would we be doing? We'd be outside pushing old people over. Okay, here's Ricky Stark and Big Bill. This is following a match from Collision. Ibushi's in another tag match, said Gerald's. I'm not feeling this. It's bad creativity, says Alex. No, hi, folks who may be new. I made a book, and I would love it if you checked it out. There's 16 that have been sold now. Very good. The Thoughts Within, a collection of poems. Sonny, shout out to you. What is one of your poems about, please? Are they wrestling poems? Could you do a wrestling poem book? What do you think about that? Here's Wheeler Yuta. You couldn't get up after what Brian dished out. But I get up every day, says Wheeler Yuta. Let's find out October 1st. So Wheeler Yuta, Ricky Stark, Wrestledream. Ricky Stark walks away, but the match is still made. So Ricky Starks, Wheeler Yuta added to the Wrestledream card. Gets Ricky Starks on the show, doesn't it? Gets him on the show. I like Ricky Starks. Right, we are moving on with the Bucks. But I don't know what this is going to be. Is this going to be the Fatal 4-Way? Okay, so Nick Jackson. Oh, 1 week away from the 4th year anniversary of AEW Dynamite, apparently. Okay. Fatal 4-way. Boom. Sunny said, Days, I do not have a wrestling poem. They're mainly inner thought poems. They're very long poems. Depression, anxiety, happiness, and love. I'm glad you picked it up at the end, but it was all a little bit dark at the start. God bless you. Aubrey said, please, God, change Big Bill's name already. I hope Takeshita got to see his mom when he was home in Japan, said Big Al. That is such a lovely... That's such a lovely thing to hope for. I also hope that happened. Ricky Starks is going to join Blackpool Combat Club, says Tahil. Yuta Starks, you couldn't give Starks anyone else, says Gerald. Tony said the creative in AEW is more complex than what you see on other companies. Sometimes you might not like some of those. Wrestledream is a terrible name for a pay-per-view, says Mr. Robot. David said Nick Jackson just reached puberty. Look at that one hair on his chest. Skiller said, after Jade left, Tony knows that Starks is next. It's burial time. Travis said, so now Ricky Starks is a babyface for no reason. I don't know what he is. I like him, but I don't know what he is. I don't know. Is he? I don't know. Tickle Tickle, under the moon so bright, in the land of music on that special night, Michael's laughter echoed a joyful, sweet refrain as the world watched him wonder his ticklish domain. Russell Andy, hello. Do you think AEW could be divided into eras yet? Having been around for 4 years. Well, you could have the pandemic era, couldn't you? Certainly have pandemic era. You can certainly have an era where there was no fans allowed. I don't know since we restarted if you could open it into a different era then, though. I think you could, but I think that once you've got 30 years under your belt, then you can probably carve that into in like 4 years. You know, trying to carve 4 years into little eras is going to be a bit niddly in it. I definitely think you could pull pandemic out, though. I mean, that was so different. Having no fans. I mean, that'll probably be something that hopefully we never experience again. Having a pandemic and having people staying at home and everything. So I think that's definitely something that you could pull out. But I don't think you could really do the rest of it now. Because, you know, if AEW keeps going, this could be known as the Elite era, couldn't it? Who knows? Because the Elite will go at some point, and then you can you might move on to the post-Elite era and whatever comes next. Maybe this will be the Tony Khan era, and maybe Tony will sell AEW, and then someone else will take over, and then that'll have a different vibe, and then that'll be known as the Miley Cyrus era. I don't know. It depends who buys it. So I would say you could divide it into little eras, but I think in the long run, the eras will be defined by much longer periods of time. I think Blackpool Combat Club are more faces, but the Blackpool Combat Club are heels, says Tahil. David said, AEW have got too many wrestlers with no creative direction, with people disappearing for weeks and months at a time. Brad said, Tony Khan's booking is I don't know who is face and why they are wrestling. I like that. If you can answer the question, are they face or heel, then immediately we have to drop the story. You shouldn't be able to answer that question, right? You need to be like, oh, I don't know, there could be both. And why are they wrestling? Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think this has been the strongest episode of Dynamite so far. But we're only 35 minutes in. Rome was not built in a day. So, Claudio in the ring with Nick Jackson. We're still going to be hearing from MJF and Adam Cole. They're still coming up, even though we've heard from them. Shot coming in by Nick Jackson. Oh, this isn't the four-way. What is this? What's this? Is this the... Oh, this is the triple threat. Oh, okay. This is the triple threat. There's a four-way that's got the other book in later. Triple threat. We lost a person. So, it's Claudio, it's Nick Jackson, it's Brian Cage. Forearm strike coming in by Brian Cage. Claudio on the outsides. Fatal four-way with Matt Jackson and Orange Cassidy and other people. It's on the graphic. Coming up later. There we go. Penta, Matt Jackson, Orange Cassidy, Austin Gunn. This triple threat wasn't on the graphic. I was not mentally prepared for this. Nick Jackson gets pushed to Brian Cage. But Tony also uses the same story, and I thought you was my friend, says Travis. Gerald said, the best way to describe this episode is things are happening, and I'm not sure why. It's a fatal five-way, said Horatio Mike. Right. It's a gauntlet match. It's a triple threat gauntlet match. Oh, what would that be? That would be 3 people in the ring at all times. If someone gets eliminated, then someone else comes down, and it always remains 3 people in the ring. A triple threat gauntlet match. And that would, imagine a fatal 5-way gauntlet match pay-per-view where you've always got 5 people in the ring. Elimination is pinfall, submission. Maybe not count out. Maybe not count out. Maybe not DQ either. Pinfall or submission. Fatal 5-way gauntlet match. I'd watch that. Maybe not a pay-per-view. Depends. There's definitely got a little nod to the Rumble in it. There's definitely a little nod to the Rumble. People coming down, but only coming down when someone's eliminated. It's got the look of the draw element to it as well. Enough people to make it carnage. Pinfall submission. I wouldn't do the over-the-top rope thing. That's too Rumble. So I'd just keep it pinfall submission. But I've never thought that could be fun. Give it a go. Triple threat gauntlet match for the #1 contender spot for the AEW title, which the title holder is also put on the match. Let's go. David said AEW need to revive Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop. When I was young, we used to get that show, but I think it was on like the cable channels. We did used to get like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes get like the kids cable channels. It was like the basic package. We didn't get the Sky channels or the movie channels or, Sky One or anything like that. But I did get things like, the music video channel. And back then you could get the kids channels as well. I think they did it so that it was for the kids channels, to be honest. They're good folks, my folks. They're good folk, good people. And I think Lamb Chop used to be on that. And I remember being very young, but I'm really enjoying it. I thought it was a great show. I haven't watched it now that I'm an adult. I might be horrified by it. But I remember it being quite fun. So I'd be totally down for Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop coming back. Revive the theme. This is the song that doesn't end to this show. I don't remember anything about Lamb Chop. Just remember it was a sheep. And I think they used to be outside. Gonna look now, Lamb Chop. There's some person called Lamb Chop. To the outside piano shows there's a band. I know the band. The Puppet. When did she start? That woman died in 98. 2. Kick out. Brian Cage was trying to get the 3. In 92, Lamb Chop began their own show. And it went from 92 to 97. That's probably the one I watched, wasn't it? 92, 97. Shoulder up. In 98, Lamb Chop starred in a spin-off, The Charlie Horse Music Pizza. The show was cancelled in 98 after Lewis's death. Oh. Right, 92. This is awesome, chant. Claudio gets rolled up. They did 4C. He was only 65. She was only 65. Well done. Super kick. Claudio, middle of the ring, European uppercut. Nick Jackson goes back against the ropes. Brian Cage, clothesline there by Claudio. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, Brian Cage gets his shoulder up. Elbows coming in by Claudio. 43 minutes into Dynamite. This is the song that doesn't mean yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing and not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it because of the song. Nick Jackson picks up the victory. Nick Jackson pins Brian Cage. Oh, I can't believe it. Whoa. Yes. So next week, Ray Phoenix versus Nick Jackson for the International Championship. Woo. On the anniversary of Dynamite. Dynamite's 4-year anniversary next week. Okay, the Righteous are being mentioned now. Let's see what the Righteous have got to say. Do you remember when we thought these were coming in to be with Bray? Karma has no deadline. It's quite Bray-esque, isn't it? So there's a little cutout figure that's got a scarf on its neck and LOL on the face. And next to him, I'm guessing, is meant to be Adam Cole. And they've written a liar on that. If you cross Brother Love and Bray Wyatt, then you would get the Righteous, says Davids. They need Reverend Slick. We hear from Adam Cole, MJF next, said WWE AEW fam. Nick Jackson gets the international title shot, said Chris. Ray Phoenix versus Nick Jackson for the international championship next week, says WWE AEW fam. Righteous seem like Wyatt liked. It's hard, innit? We were talking about this with Gacy. Like, Gacy is the one that you would look at and think that's the next Bray, but He's not really doing Bray stuff. Like, you can't really watch Gacy's stuff and see that kind of a thing, you know? But he does operate in that kind of the darker side of things, and he was a leader just of people. It was kind of a cult, wasn't it? I suppose, that schism cult. I mean, it's not a million miles away from what Bray was doing, but it just doesn't hit me as being Bray. I don't look at it and think, yeah, Bray would do that. That's a Bray thing. It's hard, man. It's hard to do that kind of thing and not be compared to him. Really difficult. You see, I look at that and I'm like, you know, it's got that kind of like sliding guitar, and it's got the whispering, and it's got like sheep word being used, and liar. Even the way he said liar reminded me of like when Uncle Howdy was saying it earlier this year. You're a liar. It's a bit like trying to do stuff in that world that's not already been done. It's difficult. Bray was doing it for so long and doing it so well. Difficult. That's a real challenge, that. It's a challenge for them. It's a challenge for Gacy. AEW could do with like a good act like that. I mean, I suppose you've got the House of Black, but I mean, really, we don't see anything from them apart from wrestling. Don't really see them doing, like, they ain't got no Firefly Funhouse or anything, have they? Don't even really see vignettes, or at least I haven't, unless they're doing them on Rampage and Collision. Definitely could be something on the show that kind of leans into that darker side of things, you know. Same in WWE. I don't think they've really got anything. I suppose Carrion would feel like the closest thing that we've got really to that at the moment. But even that's hit and miss and very inconsistent. Right. We are bringing out MJF and Adam Cole. So this is going to take us from hour 1 into hour 2. I feel sorry for those boys' mothers. Don't. They're dead. The Righteous is completely different to Bray, says James. AEW don't have anything popping like that, said Hagen Daz. A. Jobson said Brian Cage should work big man stuff instead of getting his shiz in. Justin said, I have to admit, I'm a 40-year-old man and I love that Selena Gomez song. I love you like a love song. Oh, he's on crutches? Adam Cole Bay is on crutches. It's Adam Crutches, baby. Adam Crutches, baby. Whoa, and his foot's in a cast. Wow, this is a development, isn't it? Adam Cole, baby, his foot is in a cast. Chair in the ring. Adam Cole, baby, takes a seat. MJF running round. Okay, well, we said this was going to be an interesting segment because of the rumors. Well, we got a few things to talk about here, haven't we? MJF in the ring. The devil has arrived in Colorado. Who's ready? I'm ready for story time with Adam Cole. I'm definitely ready for story time. Oh. It'd be good if Lamb Chop was involved. I got... My ankle exploded. He tore ligaments. I have to get surgery. He can go in the bed next to Roderick Strong. I will do everything in my power to get back as soon as humanly possible. We are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champs. We have to relinquish. Oh, MJF isn't keen on relinquishing. Adam Cole. So Adam Cole ain't going to be at the show. He's broke his ankle. I think he said in 3 places. He's torn ligaments. He needs surgery. I mean, he's out for months and months and months. Do you want to see us relinquish? Why would you relinquish your titles to the righteous? You would just relinquish them. You wouldn't be hurt right now if it wasn't for me, says MJF. I know what those titles mean to you. These will be waiting for you when you get back. So MJF said he's going to defend the titles in a handicap match. Here's Roderick Strong. Well, I'll tell you what, Undisputed. What has AEW done to Undisputed Era? Okay, so MJF calls Roderick Strong a simp. I learned a lesson on that boat. He's your boy. Okay. Lol to Roddy said Hagen-Dazs. Tony's worst nightmare is when MJF makes the jump to WWE, said Sakilla. They say that MJF's a changed man. I mean, literally in that video, he was about to nail flipping Adam Cole with the diamond ring. Okay, so Adam Cole is on crutches and he's making his way to Roderick Strong because Roderick Strong said this is important. Hot Roddy. Hashtag next strong. Who's coming out now? What's this? Is this the righteous? It's the Bang Bang Gang. 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 Bang Bang. We've got, well, I do like Bullet Club Golds. Things just improved now the Bang Bang Gang are here. So, Switchblades, the Guns, Juice Robinson, a cardboard cutout of Switchblades. Oh, man, let's go. Switchblade MJF. Do that instead, yeah? That instead. Didn't need Adam Cole and MJF against the right. Just do this instead, yeah? Wrestledream. Just relinquish those Ring of Honor tag titles. Getting in the way. Could be doing this. We should be doing this. This is what we should be doing. This is where we should be. Too sweet chance. Ah, this could be good, man. This could be good. This is going to be a test, isn't it, for both of them? MJF looking opposite at someone who can talk. Who's got on the AEW fans? Switchblade J. Switchblade J. Switchblade J. Switchblade J. Shut up, Max says Switchblade. Everyone's heard your voice enough. People want to hear my sweet exotic accent for a change. This is good, man. This is easily the highlight of the show so far for me. Bang, bang, gang. Let's go. I sent everyone to the back. He said, you look a bit concerned, so I sent everyone to the back. Okay. That mid-mic work ain't going to work with MJF. He says his facial hair looks like pubic hair. Now we've got a pubic hair chant. Let's see if Jay White rambles or has tightened it up, said here is the thing. It never bothered me. So MJF says that he read that he was good, but he's no Jay White. And apparently that bothered him when he read that. BS from the fans. He said he didn't understand why it offended him, first of all. I'm like a fine filet mignon. When I'm in this ring, I'm a generational talent. When I'm in the ring, this is my show. Are we watching a future classic? I think it'd be a great match, singles match. I would really want to see it. So you've told people you're flaming yon, but you're actually tofu, says MJF, and now we've got a tofu chant. Jay White, you've been given everything. You've been given the cool entrance, the cool nickname, the cool entrance, theme music. MJF is cooking. Tofu. If I take all of that stuff away, I'm left with nothing but boring, says MJF. Okay. Isn't this the promo he cut on Adam Cole? Well, so far, he's basically said, your facial hair looks like pubes and you're tofu. You're all hype. So I like that from MJF. There's a line in there that I really like. Okay, two things in that promo that I thought were really good. It's another MJF promo that's just full of waffle, that's full of stuff that you can get rid of. Talking about pubes, talking about tofu. You can get rid of all of that. Not needed. But there's two things in there I thought were really good. Let's see what Jay White comes back with, though. I'm a bit let down, says Switchblade. Crowder chanting tofu at Switchblade. Switchblade said, I think you're a bit distracted with your bromance. Something seems a bit off with you these days. Switchblade said, I don't think they love you like they love Adam Cole. I'm not sure that's true, Switchblade. I'm not sure that's true. I'm pretty sure they do love him as much more than Adam Cole. That's a misstep by Switchblade. Switchblade said, I forgot they're slow here. I've got this. So you need to be quiet. Okay, so Switchblade is just saying about how he played a part in them being friends. He says his ankle's broken now, though, and that was your fault. Good news. I'm here now. You call yourself the devil? Well, Mr. Devil. You need to find another level. I'm King Switch. Don't see too many people getting in MJF's face, kind of... I will be a truly elite champ, says Switchblade. It was okay from Switchblade. It was okay. He was getting animated. It's interesting to watch people's different approaches to MJF. Some people just kind of hang back and let him do his thing and then respond with a few words. You know, CM Punk didn't go into loads of dialogue. There wasn't loads of dialogue from Samoa Joe, but with Switchblade, a lot more dialogue coming back. Talking more, actually. MJF, you've gone soft and you know it. MJF said, you haven't got a clue what I'm capable of, so how about I show you? So MJF is taking his Switchblade, taking his jacket off as well. Switchblade gets out the ring, though. Okay. Well, what I would say is a very captivating segment, a segment that I wanted to listen to. I wanted to hear everything that was said between them. I wanted to feel the story, understand where they're both coming from, like really try and take it all on board. And unfortunately, they're not letting it breathe. We're going straight into a Christian Darby segment now. I feel like that's the perfect time to go to a commercial break. Christian pinned Luchasaurus, is the TNT champion. Christian said, I don't know what you're on about. I've been the TNT champ for months now. Okay, so we're just moving on to this Christian Darby thing. I would have saved this. I think we really need a break, man. Need to just take on board what's just been said. Instead, now we've got another sit-down interview that we need to listen to. So, Christian said, I want to see what you can do when you have to wrestle. Is your uncle going to be in attendance? Everyone you talk shit about is dead. Fired up Darby here. To be honest, I mean, like, this is something that is, it walks a line, you know? He's talking about how Darby's uncle, I mean, he was talking about, like, Jungle Boy's dad. He was talking about Darby's uncle. And I was looking to see how Darby would respond to that, and a very fired up Darby. You want me to bring Nick so that you can take advantage of him? He needs a champion. So Christian's, I think, looking to... He's taking the paint off his face. You think I have to hide behind this face paint? He's getting really worked up, man. Darby's getting really worked up. This is good. Christian said, I will always be the face of TNT. Now we're going to a match. Man, there's just no time to take on board that MJF segment. All I'll say is, overall, I thought it was good. I think both guys had moments. The moments that really stood out for me was a couple of MJF ones. There was an MJF moment where he said that he didn't like reading that he was not as good as... Didn't like reading he was not as good as Jay White. He's good, but not as good as Jay White. And he ended his promo by saying, after, like, we've faced off, get used to people saying he's good, but he's no Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So, you know, a callback to the thing that he mentioned earlier in the promo was very good. I like that. And then the probably the most standout line from both of them was MJF saying, you're nothing more than what a Japanese promoter thought that a big star should be. Well, you're in the ring now with an actual big star. So with that one line, he's just saying that you've been overinflated. You're nothing more than mid, but been inflated to, like, thinking they're a big star. Well, you're in the ring with an actual big star now. And, I mean, that's just a great way of building yourself up and putting the other person down. Really good. And not in any sort of cringy way. I mean, I would say calling yourself filet mignon and calling the other person tofu is just a bit play school, like playground. Just a bit like, oh, I'm steak, you're tofu. Okay. But the other one that he came out with where he said, you know, I'm an actual big star. You're just what someone in Japan thinks should be a big star. I like that line a lot. I've said it before, you have to sit through a lot of just waffle, I think, with MJF, but there is gold in there. And then I thought that Switchblade came back with just a lot of just a lot of noise, a lot of aggression, just a lot of hand waving as well, a lot of hand gestures. But he was very animated, and he was really trying to match the intensity of MJF. And as I said, it's very interesting to see how different people react to MJF. It's very different to see, like, some people take that quiet response. Just stand there, like, Samoa Joe did that. Samoa Joe just stood and took it, right? Say what you want to say. I know you're going to say what you want to say. Do it. Take it. And then I'll respond with, a few bits. It's interesting. Do you go toe-to-toe with him and try to out MJF? Or do you take a different approach and you just kind of stand back, just come in with a few lines? You're not necessarily taking an L. Maybe you can just deliver killer lines in a much, much shorter period of time. That even when he's saying stuff that's just not really that special, people still love it because, he'll say something and then he'll go to the crowds and, like, get them involved as well. And then the crowd will jump in and start helping out, by chanting tofu, right? And stuff like that. So even though what he's doing is maybe not that amazing, not that mind-blowing, his delivery is, and his use of the audiences as well. I gotta be honest, I think it was a real own goal by Switchblade as well. I think Switchblade made a big mistake in his promo by going, I don't think these people love you as much as they love Adam Cole. Because I would disagree. I think they love him. I think the crowd love him more. So as someone sat at home, you kind of want the people at home to be agreeing with what you're saying. Like, go on, go after MJF. Stick it to MJF now. If you're going to get in the ring and say something that we kind of know isn't true, it's easy for us to go, no, that's not right. That's not true. I don't agree with that. So I think Switchblade had a golden opportunity to fire back with something there, and I think he made a big mistake with saying that the crowd don't love him as much as they love Adam Cole. Because immediately my reaction was, I don't think that's correct. Which then makes me believe that other stuff he's going to say is probably also a little bit off. So I would say, like, one of those segments that, I wasn't really talking much because I really wanted to listen to it and I really wanted to understand where they were both coming from, and I wanted to hear those key lines, and I wanted to hear the builds and how we got to those key lines. I wanted to see how they were using the audience. I wanted to see what Switchblade would come back with. I wanted to really understand the segment. And for me, it was good. I'm sure there'll be people that will say it was great. And I would say that I'm excited for that match, but I'm excited for that match anyway. Switchblade against MJF. I wish it was at WrestleDream. This is why, like, Adam Cole, MJF go, like, defending the Ring of Honor tag titles. It's not what I want. I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. Not when you've got matches like this that you can turn to, that I think are so much more compelling, that I think are so much more interesting. I'd love it for this to be this weekend. But it seems like we're potentially setting this up for, I don't know, next week, or don't know when the next pay-per-view is. Isn't it Full Gear soon? Are we, like, approaching Full Gear? Is Full Gear coming up? Would it be that we're building towards this at Full Gear? MJF now has got to go back to being the MJF. I would say the MJF that I appreciate more. He's got to go back to being him on his own. Adam Cole is out the picture. So we've got to move away from the Adam Cole stuff now. And Switchblade MJF, I'm definitely here for that. Full Gear is November 17th. So we're looking at about a month and a half. It's in Los Angeles. I'm thinking that's probably our next pay-per-view. It's apparently 2 massive nights as well, because Rampage Collision on Saturday. And no, hang on. Rampage Collision. Oh, so we film Rampage live. What? How does this work? So Full Gear is on the Saturday. So what do we do with Collision? On Friday, and Saturday, it's 2 big nights of action. The stars will be out when Rampage and Collision take over on Friday. How does that work? How do we do 2 shows? How do we do Rampage and Collision on the Friday? That would mean that we've got to show Collision on the Saturday? Taped. Rampage and Collision on the Friday, Full Gear on the Saturday? I don't know how Collision worked before, to be honest. I'm trying to think. We've just done a couple of pay-per-views, but they were on a Sunday. Wasn't the Wembley show on a Sunday? And I'm sure that All Out was on a Sunday. So, how would it work with it being on a Saturday? What happens to Collision? Because you can't do Rampage and Collision both on Friday. Unless they just follow each other. Is that going to be on at the same time as SmackDown? Anyone know? Does anyone know? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Rampage and Collision and Full Gear and everything. Answers on a postcard, please, because I'm not just saying it. I genuinely don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. Unless you do Rampage live on the Friday, you then record Collision, you air that at like lunchtime or something, and then you do... Because you ain't going to put it on at the same time as Full Gear, are you? You ain't going to put Collision on it because your audience is going to be watching the pay-per-view. So that means that you've got to air it earlier on the Saturday. Gerald said, the promo felt like it did Jay White no favours, immediately being proven wrong by MJF as not being over, and then rambled about nothing. I agree. I think that there was a few... I would say it's not a disaster for Jay White, because I think saying something that was off and I think was wrong puts him, like, in a deficit. I thought then, you know... There was a line in there from Jay that I liked where he said, you're going to need to, they call you the devil, like you're going to need to get onto another level if you're going to hang with me, because, you know, I'm going to be the elite champion that this belt deserves, or something along those lines. And I found like there wasn't really any kill shot in there or anything of like real substance, but I liked him saying, basically, you're saying you're on the level of the devil. You need to get to a different level to be on my level, right? That's basically what he's saying. And I was like, yeah, okay, there was something there. It's not as good as the lines we just pulled out from MJF's side of it. But yeah, okay, there's something there. I kind of feel like that maybe erases the deficit. But I agree, he doesn't come out of it with like his stock like raised. I think for me, he got into a promo battle with MJF and he came out of it okay. He came out of it, I would say, relatively unscathed. I mean, I don't think that he walks away having been like given his ass handed to him, you know? I don't think he walks away from that with his tail between his legs, absolutely ashamed by that segment, right? I thought that MJF had a couple of moments, and Switchblade scored a bit of an own goal. You know, if I think if you had to say who's the winner there, quite comfortably you'd say MJF, quite comfortably. I don't think it was like massive difference. So yeah, I would agree that it didn't do him any favors, but I think a large part of that is a bit of an own goal that he did to himself, you know. So those are my feelings on the MJF Switchblade thing. I would say overall, good segment, highlight of the show so far, and I'm very excited for the direction that we're going in with that. Another one, isn't there? Is it Penta and Penta as well? Got a little bit of lag, haven't we? I wonder if I can... I don't know, it just keeps coming in and dropping back out again. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Don't know why it'd be doing that, but... looks a bit wobbly tonight. All 4 guys are down in the ring. The show needs someone getting beaten in front of their crying children. It feels like that's what's missing here. I mean, I agree. But I would say every show needs that, and I include game shows as well. Where's 6-year-old Tony Khan when you need him, said Trini. Okay, we are underway with this Fatal 4-Way then. Just talking about the Christian and Darby segment, I found that to be quite compelling as well. I really liked, I'm not sure about Christian constantly going to the dead family member thing. I think, like, I feel like I suppose in a way you're trying to push buttons, but if you're getting heat the exact same way every time, I feel like you are showing a bit of lack of variation. You know, this is what he did with Jungle Boy going after his dad, and now he's going after, like, Darby's, you know, past deceased uncle. What it did lead to, though, was Darby talking about how he's not trying to hide behind the face paint, and he gets the water and takes it off. And I thought that was a really good, compelling bit, you know, really personal, really interesting, really, you could tell that the conversation was getting to him. He was acting like what was being said was having an impact on him. And I felt like I was watching some quite gritty, actually. I felt like I was watching Christian trying to push buttons. And as I said, talking about people that have passed away, I don't have a problem with that. My problem with it would be that it's just repetition. This is what he did with Jungle Boy, and it's not really showing that he's got, like, other tools. But I suppose I can also understand, you know, if you're in a feud with someone like Darby, let's push that. But I see, you know what I mean? It's a bit like a boxer. When a boxer's in a ring, like, you know, he's got a few different weapons. Well, let's try the jab. How do they react to that? Let's go for the uppercut when we're in the pocket. How does he react to that? Let's go for a hook upstairs. Let's try the body. Let's see what happens when we go to the body. Let's try the 1-2 down the center and see kind of what happens there. Let's put the pressure on and see what they're like on the back foot. Like, you know, you try a few things, and I think, like, Christian was pushing different buttons there. He was trying a few things. Let's try the dead uncle and see how he responds to that, shall we? Let's see if he'll take that bait, you know? So, I'm a bit torn on it. Like, for me, it could be seen as repetitive, but equally, you could also see it as the heel trying to push buttons. I don't have adverts that you have, so you may have been going to ad breaks and I haven't been going to them. I really think, though, after that MJF promo, we needed an ad break. I think we really needed an ad break. I really wanted to talk about what we had just seen and get your thoughts and see what people were saying. But we couldn't because we were straight into the Christian one. And so then all of a sudden, you're, you know, having to listen to a whole new promo. And then, honestly, we've just gone straight into this match. So, I mean, I haven't had a commercial break. I'm sure you lot must have somewhere. Maybe picture-in-picture or something. I don't know. But, yeah, we're kind of having to recap the promos during this match. Orange Cassidy, it's not a match that, to my knowledge, doesn't mean anything, though. Orange Cassidy picks up the win. So it's Orange Cassidy and Hook that are victorious here. Coming up next is Willow against Julia Hart, and we've still got the contract signing. So OC victorious. Tony needs to let things breathe. Well, he does, I agree, but as I said, I have to hold my hands up because I'm watching on Fight TV, and so now I have gone to commercial break. You might have been going and you might have been getting picture-in-picture that I didn't have. So maybe, like, you was able to kind of take on board what had been said a bit better than I can, watching through Fight. But at the end of that MJF segment, I definitely would have liked a hard commercial break with the graphic and, you know. Sometimes commercials can be a positive thing. Like, rarely they can, but if you've had a big, meaty segment and you're just like, whoa, man, I want to really take that in. I really want to think about that, you know, then go in and having a commercial break where you can just go and get a drink or go to the bathroom or just take a moment to go, wow, yeah, okay, what did I think of that? You know? That's, I feel that way after that MJF segment, definitely. So, right, where are we going now? I think, didn't they say it's Julia Hart against Chris Statlander next? A weird show, this one, you know. I mean, it's a show that, honestly, it's a hard one to stream because there was a lot of talk in there. A lot of talking with the whole Adam Cole, MJF, Jay White. I don't know how long the segment actually went for. I mean, I know they came out at like 12 minutes to, and we're sat here now, it's half past. And so we had that. We had the Christian thing. That was a lot of listening. A lot of listening, and they don't make for great streams, to be honest. They don't make for great streams. Because, like, I want to make sure I'm hearing it and listening to it and taking it on board. So that if I am going to talk about it, at least I can come from having listened to it. So, yeah, you know, but as I said, I'm no complaints because that is definitely a match I want to see. Definitely. I mean, Switchblade was someone I wanted to go to WWE. I wanted to see him go to WWE, and I think he's a big signing for AEW. And he might not have felt like a big signing yet, but they've took their time with him. He's done a few bits and bobs and probably done some good stuff on Collision. But putting him in there now with MJF and having him around the top end of the card and around the title, I'm definitely here for that. And I wonder who's going to help MJF. If Bullet Club Gold get involved, who's going to come to MJF's aid? Because Adam Cole's not around. And I don't think anyone else likes MJF, do they? So that could be interesting. Okay, here's Julia Hart with Brody King. Is it just Brody King? She's walking slow, isn't she? She's like the modern day Undertaker. House of Black, Julia Hart, 10-0 in 2023. They're definitely giving her a big entrance, aren't they? We've got all kind of swirling lights in the crowds. Chris Statlander, Julia Hart. I don't know if I've seen her. Has she competed on Dynamite? It's a very different vibe. Willow comes out. She's got her head bandaged. Aw, she's not as fun when she's not like all bouncy and everything. Normally she comes out and she's all like, yeah. She doesn't seem to be in that kind of mood at the moment. She's got her head bandaged. Perhaps she had a match with Phoenix. Well, Julia Hart's got to win this, isn't she? She's going to the pay-per-view this weekend. Probably that's why Willow looks so glum. Julia Hart goes down, face first into the corner by Willow, that's throwing in some big clothesline, really laying him in, man. Really laying him in. I like that by Willow. Forearm strikes by Willow. She's got Julia Hart, hurls her into the corner. Kick coming in there by Willow. Stomping away, Julia Hart goes down in the corner. Julia Hart jumps onto the back of Willow and she's grabbing at that bandage. Eye patch has come off. Willow's got a black eye. We haven't had a close-up of it yet, but you could sort of see it underneath the bandage anyway. Nice, round the back. Sharp, down goes Julia Hart. I want to see a close-up of this eye. Is it a black eye, or was it like misted or something? That looks like makeup, doesn't it? That doesn't look like a proper black eye. Again, throwing in shots. I can't see a close-up of it, though. I don't know if that's a proper black eye. That is horrific. But I think it's just makeup. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Julia Hart. Shots coming in by Willow. Do you agree that House of Black are trying to be Bray and they need to stop it, says Uncle Howdy? Well, no, I don't think they're trying to be Bray. I think it's very difficult, and we keep saying this. I think it's very difficult for these groups like The Righteous, like Joe Gacy, to try and operate in that mysterious, mystique, that, you know, the darker side of things. I mean, there's plenty of people before Bray that operated there, you know, Undertaker being the prime example, but you could look at like Boogeyman, Papa Shango, Kane, of course. You know, the list is quite long of people that operated in that kind of darkness. Mankind, think of Mankind when he first came in. So I think what we've got is we've got a group here that are trying to operate in that realm, like Carrion and Scarlett, like Gacy, like The Righteous. They're trying to operate in that kind of space. But Bray was so prominent in that space, dominated that space for so long, and did so much in that space that it's very hard to do something there now that's not going to remind you of him. It's very hard for you to do something that's not going to make you think of Cult Leader Bray or The Fiend or The Funhouse or, you know, the what he's recently done. You know, if you do anything with like TV interruption, whatever, it's going to make you think of Uncle Howdy. Obviously, if anyone did anything to do with like kids or whatever, it's going to make you think of Firefly Funhouse. You know, seeing The Righteous with those cut out men like skipping and everything, it made me think of the Firefly Funhouse. It's hard. I think it's just really hard to operate in that space. So I don't know that they're trying to be Bray. I mean, because, you know, we're not seeing them with the cabin. We're not seeing them talk about Sister Abigail or like you know, a higher power or anything like this. We're not seeing like is there even a leader? I mean, would you say Malachi was the leader? He doesn't act in the way that Cult Leader Bray acted. There's no alternative kind of personas from what I've seen. Like, they don't turn into fiends or do anything along those lines. So I think the similarity is because they're in that space, but it's hard to be in that space. I could, you know, where's Abaddon? Do you know, instead of Julia Hart, Abaddon would have been great in that role. Over goes Willow. Kick coming in there by Julia Hart. And again, Bray didn't own the creepy, dark, mysterious gimmicks. Anyone can do that too. It's true. It's true. Anyone can do that too. But the thing is that because he was the face of it for many people, that's why a lot of people will associate those dark and mysterious characters with him. That's why the comparison will be made so often. Willow getting up to her feet with Julia Hart jumping on the back. The live chat number shows the Dynamite is putting everyone to sleep with a weird way to follow up from Grand Slam, said Big Time Baxter. Well, don't know, to be honest. I mean, I feel like the MJF Switchblade thing may have brought people in. I don't know that they'll stick around for this. I don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting a strong number. Probably 800 some thousand. I think they seem to have an audience, don't they? They've got an audience that will tune in every week, and I think like it must be frustrating if you try some stuff. If you try some stuff and it doesn't work, you know, you try some stuff and it just doesn't change the number. I wonder at what point you go, what's the point? If I try something, it doesn't work. If I don't try, I get the exact same result. It must get a bit demotivating sometimes. They've been at that 800,000 range for quite a long time. Willow, very close to the rope. Hold the rope, you're right there. So Willow gets to the rope and Aubrey tells Julia she's got to break the holds. Willow is in the corner. Julia's going to look to... I don't know what's happened to her boot. Willow collides into Julia. Julia goes down. How long have we got? We've got 16 minutes. They're going to have to send this baby home, aren't they? We've still got the contract signing. Willow driving Julia into the corner. Julia upside down. Brody King on the outside. So Julia sits up, gets out the way of the cannonball. Willow cannonballs into the corner. Julia moves out the way. Julia with a moonsault connects. 1, 2, 3. The number changed last week. They got people's attention, capitalizing on it. They've now jeopardized it. What happened to the alien gimmick of Chris Statlander, said Sonny? That's a good question. I mean, they got rid of it, I think, when she was injured, and they kind of brought her back and toned that down. So, does she do the bop thing anymore? I don't know if she does the bop thing. Julia Hart is attacking Willow after. Here is Chris Statlander. Goes against the ropes as Julia Hart gets out the way. Statlander jumps out the ring, tries to get to her, but Brody King gets in the way. So Statlander came down to save Willow. Wrestledream. Nothing special, but Julia has got momentum, says Gerald's. Tony Khan said I was going to offer Wrestling Days a job, but now I'm reconsidering. Don't bother, I'd turn it down. Good show. Solid 7, said Alexis. Warrior Gaming said, any release star here tonight? No, I'm not expecting any release stars. They've got a 90-day non-compete, haven't they? Hawkins Jr. said, Days, what about WWE, UFC having a crossover TKO belts? What? What? No, mate. Little Neva said, AEW the sound. Don't you guys understand? I would rather switch the TV off. Wrestledream is the worst name I've heard in a while. Wrestledream. Something to do with honouring Antonio Inoki, isn't it? I heard, but I've not seen any reference of Inoki. I would imagine there would be like an Antonio Inoki Battle Royal. Do you know what I mean? You know, like how we do the Andre Battle Royal or something along those lines. But there's been no mention of Antonio Inoki. Have a look at Wrestledream. Here we go. The event will be a tribute show to New Japan founder Antonio Inoki. It will take 1 year, place 1 year after his passing. The event will begin with a 10-bell salute to Inoki. There you go. So it is a tribute to Inoki, and the show will start with a 10-bell salute to Antonio Inoki. Here's Swerve. Bryan Danielson was originally going to face Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door in June 2022, but was unable to due to injury. Over a year later, on September 9th, 2023, episode of Collision, Danielson said that here, with his career winding down, the next person he wants was Sabre Jr. Later, a match between the two was officially announced for Wrestledream. So we've got to 10 matches now. 10 matches with Ricky Starks, Wheeler Yuta being added to the card. We have got our final segment coming up. This is going to be Swerve and Hangman. Contract signing. This will go well. You know how contract signings go. Oblong said it's Julia's time. The undefeated streak would be for nothing if Julia doesn't win the championship. Hope it wasn't a waste of time, Tony. Give Julia the title. Chris said no Swerve dance from Nana. James said Danielson Zack Sabre Jr. is one of my dream matches. I can't effing wait. Little Neeb said 400,000 people watching Dynamite now. No, I think this will still do like an 800,000. I think. I mean that would be, unless that's going to die a death as well. I mean, NXT's numbers are not that strong this week. Tony Khan said, have faith. I promise I'll put on an amazing event honoring a great man and a pioneer of professional wrestling. Trini says, bop, 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 bop. Do you remember when she used to do the bopping? Bop. Just don't do it anymore. And since then, that's when AEW has struggled. Coincidence? John said Swerve will get heat on Hangman at the contract signing, but then he will end up doing the job for him at the pay-per-view. I hope not. I hope not. Let's go. Swerve's time, man. Hangman doesn't need the win. I hope Swerve can pick up the victory, but Danielson would add prestige to the title for years to come, says Brad. Who is he honouring? Antonio Inoki. Antonio Inoki. The Great. Okay, we just got a black screen, or I've got a black screen at the moment, but I have the AEW logo and I have the Fight logo, so I know... There we go. I was going to say, I know that it's not crashed. Okay, Renee Paquette in the ring. Swerve is in the ring. Hometown for Swerve. Okay, here's Hangman. Hangman making his way down to the ring then. Let's see what we get in this segment. How is this going to go? James said Swerve is fantastic. WWE did him dirty. Hangman doesn't, but neither did Nick Jackson, and he still won, says Gerald. He's better than MJF in ring, anyone says. Okay, Swerve. Staring at Hangman. Swerve is just so comfortable and so relaxed. Okay, Hangman in the ring. Swerve. I've been really impressed with the fire that you've been showing, says Swerve. But it's better to be prepared on the approach rather than the landing. Do you understand what you're walking into? This is going to be a lion's den, said Swerve. This is unlike anything you've ever dealt with. We couldn't be more opposite from each other, says Swerve. I'll never be the wrestler you are. What's a farmer to a mogul? Nice line. What's a buckshot to a kill shot? Nice line. What's a buckshot? I will never be a wrestler like you. What's a buckshot to a kill shot? You said some stuff to me that I won't lie stung. Stung me a bit. Not gonna lie. I went home, I started crying. I'm not gonna lie. Something's up with Hangman, and Hangman says, I knew it. For a year and a half. Every day. I felt there was a little black cloud over my head for the past year and a half, says Hangman. The sun would shine. I beat John Moxley in a Texas death match. I reunited with my friends in the Elite. Every time I started to smile, that little cloud would come back. Might have depression. Is this going? I couldn't do anything about it. That's over with. I weathered the storm. I'm still here. Yeah, but how's he feeling now? Has he still got the little clouds? Something got washed out of me, says Hangman. I don't know if it was determination or passion. It's a very different promo, this, isn't it? Very different from anything we've seen tonight. See, this is another approach to MJF. So MJF has a pop at you. Another approach you could take would be to go, yeah, you're right. I've had this issue. I've had that issue, blah, 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 blah. Then turn it around and say, but that's why this Saturday means so much to me. That's why this Saturday I have to win. So you take it, you absorb it, you recycle it. That's what Hangman's just done there. So I've said that was beautiful. So I've said, I've got to be honest, that's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. That's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Okay, are we talking about a sport thing? I'm going to be real honest. You could have been anyone, but it just happened to be you in the position that I want. Truth be told. It rains an awful lot in Seattle. Maybe you would have been the first black AEW champion. Hangman said, we can talk about all the opportunities I've been given if I earned them or not, but what no one can dispute is every opportunity I've had, I've knocked it out the park. If you're telling me you've got what it takes to fill my boots, then you don't. Swerve slaps Hangman. Renee gets out the ring. Wow, Hangman stabs the pen into Swerve's hand. Right into his hand. They separate the two competitors. Tell you what, there was some interesting stuff in that promo. Hello, backstage brawl. Someone's being beaten up backstage. Is that... Who is that? Is that Switchblade? Jay White's being attacked? Now, this is interesting. There's lots of people in devil masks. Now, that's interesting. We said that. We said who is going to stand with MJF when Bullet Club Golds are going to come after him, because Bullet Club Golds are definitely going to come after him. So, who's going to stand by MJF because Adam Cole can't do it? Extra footage! Bonus footage! Bonus footage! Oh, there he is, look! Walking out the ring! Show's finished! He gets out the ring, there he is, look, we're just seeing inside the ring, he's getting out the ring, no signal from the venue! But we got a little bit extra, didn't we? I just saw Hangman get out the ring. I saw Hangman pick up the contract. It looked like he was chewing and he stepped out the ring. That is extra bonus footage right there. Yeah, who's gonna be in that group? Who's gonna be those devils? Because, I mean, it can't be Adam Cole because he's injured. It can't be Roderick Strong. I mean, it could be the Kingdom. They're healthy, so they could be too. Don't know why they'd want to help MJF unless there's a bit of money involved. I don't know. Who's it going to be? Looks about 4 or 5, didn't they? All beaten up. When's Blood and Guts? I think we've had it, haven't we? It's definitely going to be like a multi-person tag match, isn't there? Don't mind it. Got to do something now that the Adam Cole story is put on hold. Interesting final promo with Hangman kind of going, listen, you touched a nerve. You said something that got to me. I've been feeling this black cloud for about a year and a half, and it was all really like, dear diary. But, and I didn't really establish if he had fixed it and if he was in a better place now. But Swerve was like, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, fine. It's fine. Fine. Final segment was all right. Again, found it quite interesting to listen to. And, but I really like that bit at the end. Because all of a sudden now, MJF's not going to be alone. And, you know, seems like he's found some more friends that can stand by his side and Bullet Club Gold against MJF and the Devils, which sounds like a band. Ziggler, Edge, Ali are MJF's goons, says AR1. Hangman was talking about Punk, says Kyle. Oh, do you think that's what he was talking about? For a year and a half, he's had a black cloud over his head. Do you think he was talking about that? Do you reckon Punk? Punk definitely played a part. Definitely was something that I could imagine brought his health down. I don't know. I don't know if he was. Maybe. I mean, I don't think that Hangman has been feeling the same as he was a few years ago, and maybe that does coincide with CM Punk coming in. I believe him though. I believe him when he says that he's been feeling a black cloud over him. I don't think that's shots being fired. I didn't take it as shots being fired. I didn't even take it as he was talking about CM Punk. I took it more that he was being very genuine about, you know, that storm has maybe took away some of my determination. Maybe it has took away some of my passion. Because he hasn't felt as big as he did. I didn't mind it. Again, a very different approach when it comes to promos to what we've been seeing on the rest of the show. Wardlow could be helping. He did before, said Blaze Radio. Wardlow, that would need some explaining, and he could. Possibly, Wardlow says, Blazed. Do you think WWE Shop ever bring back the puppets, says Uncle Howdy? Don't think so. Just because I think they you know, the company moves on, doesn't it? So they will produce stuff that's on TV at the moment. I mean, obviously there's a Legends kind of line where you can still get like Hulk Hogan merch and Ultimate Warrior merch. Could we see Bray kind of go into that line and be under that sort of a deal? I don't know what deal they would have him under now. I mean, I don't even know if, I mean, I'm guessing his contract's done. I don't think it automatically, there could be a stipulation that if you pass away whilst under contract, your deal becomes a Legends deal or something. I don't know, maybe that's just a hidden little thing that's in there that they never need to really worry about or think about because it just very, very, very rarely ever happens. So that deal might just be done, might just be over. I wonder if they have got that, because obviously they have people under, like Ultimate Warrior. His estate is under. There must be some agreement there so that they can keep producing like merch of him. And same with like Macho Man as well. The Macho Man family and the Macho Man estate allow them to make merch of them. I mean, it's not just if you was an ex-WWE superstar that you're allowed to make merch of them. You know, there must be like a deal that's in place. So my guess, if I was to guess, I would say that as soon as he passed away, that was it. The contract was over. My guess would be there is no deal currently between Bray's estate and WWE, which would mean that any sales of merch, they've said 100% profits go to the family. I don't know when that will be till. But maybe they can negotiate a deal with Bray's family, and then maybe you will see a range of items come out. Because I said, didn't I? Why did they not have a thank you Bray shirt? Like, I really felt like that was a missed opportunity. Maybe there's something in the contracts that prevented them from doing that. Maybe there's a reason as to why we couldn't provide that. But I thought that they should have done thank you Bray or Bray Wyatt forever or whatever. Fireflies forever kind of shirts. I mean, if all the profits were going to the family, then put a shirt out that people don't already have. If you're a Bray fan, chances are you've already got all the Bray merch you want. So why not put something new out? And that was a criticism I had at the time. Maybe there was something in the contracts that just, you know, sometimes this legal stuff can get in to release any Bray merch. And so if they are going to do puppets and other stuff in the future and release it in the future, there'd have to be a new deal that gets struck, which could get struck. But they might just concentrate on T-shirts and masks and caps and things like that. I don't know that they'll do the puppets. 8 out of 10 said Joe. Yeah, feel free to put in your thoughts. Top Dollar was barely at WWE. And what NFL team? I didn't see him there. I don't know about him being in the NFL. Boomer said, breaking news, Retribution is all elite. Big Time said, I googled wrestling days on famous birthdays. You was born on May 12, 2000, and you reside in the US. And you have interviewed Undertaker and Hogan. Well, a lot of that is incorrect. That's what I can tell you. I'm actually 21, as everyone knows. So that means I was born in 2002, actually. And I've never interviewed Undertaker or Hogan. I've never met Undertaker or Hogan. But my birthday is the 12th of May. I can confirm that. So, and I don't reside in the US. So, literally, other than the 12th of May, everything is wrong. Who knew that stuff on the internet was incorrect? Who knew? 2 out of 10 said Travis. 675 said Kashawn. Do you like AEW or Raw or SmackDown? Well, they differ, don't they? I mean, I've seen some good Dynamites. I've seen some bad Dynamites. I've seen some good Raws. I've seen some bad Raws. I've seen some good SmackDowns. I've seen some bad SmackDowns. I think it just depends where you are with the show, with the stories and all that stuff. I kind of feel like across the whole landscape at the moment, it's a bit flat. I mean, we haven't seen Roman for a long time. We do have, like, the Bloodline story is okay, but it's probably the weakest it's been for a long, long time. And that's been the real driver, hasn't it, for WWE? So Roman ain't been around. The Bloodline story's in a bit of a weak spot. We do have John Cena about, which is exciting for a lot of people. And that's going to build towards a match, obviously, at Fastlane. But, yeah, I don't know. We're not doing much with Cody. The Cody situation's a bit, I don't know what we're doing there. We haven't seen Brock in quite a long time. Like, I don't know, WWE are, as I said, just sort of spinning their wheels a little bit. There's definitely a few things going on there. I mean, we watch the shows and tend to be in the 6s. So, I mean, you can't do that unless you got something happening. But, yeah, I don't know that it's like, you know, setting the world on fire at the moment. A bigger picture, right? I'm talking about like past few weeks, few months. If you was to look at the past few years, brilliant. Past few years, brilliant. Depends what size, sample size you want to look at. If it's the past few weeks, I'd say we've been spinning our wheels a bit. If it's the past few years, I'd say we've been in a great place. A great place. Really strong. So, yeah, it just depends, doesn't it? I mean, the reason why I've said before, if I didn't get anything from any of these shows, I just wouldn't want to waste my time with watching them. I'd just make some other content, you know? Don't need to do watch-alongs. We could do other types of videos instead. In fact, before 2018, I was doing other types of videos. So if the shows really are that much of a chore to watch, then I could easily make the decision to not do watch-alongs. But we've never got to that point. I did step away from NXT for a short time, always with the intention of going back. And we did, and now it's bubbling, man. I think it's doing some really great work, NXT. Really great work. So yeah, it just differs, you know. Sometimes Raw is the best show, sometimes SmackDown's the best show, sometimes NXT is the best show, sometimes Dynamite's the best show. Sometimes the best match of the week is on, you know, one of those brands. Sometimes one of those brands is the worst show of the week. It's you never quite know from a week-to-week basis what you're going to get. What I would say about AEW is they've took a big step forward for me tonight, because even though tonight's show I thought was so-so and a little dodgy in a couple of places, so I wouldn't say this was like an amazing episode by any stretch of the imagination. But what I would say is that the promos were very interesting tonight. And the MJF development, MJF Switchblade, I'm totally here for that. And MJF having some people helping him for when Bullet Club Gold start getting involved, I'm totally here for that as well. And Wrestledream, as we said, also looks pretty strong this weekend. So there is a lot to get excited about. There is a lot to be optimistic about. So we'll see how things look and feel once we've come through. I wonder if he loses them. I mean, it's going to be hard to win a handicap match anyway, but I've got to think Switchblade Jay White's going to want revenge after being beaten up. So he could play a part in those titles being lost. Righteous could win that match now. Big Time said WWE can't afford to just go onto autopilot with NFL killing them. If they give up completely, they'll just be getting slaughtered. Jay White, MJF will be an all-time classic, says Kyle. Tequila said Tony needs to sign more ex-WWE stars to sell more seats. Jim said Adam Cole, Kingdom, Roderick Strong beat up Jay White. Cole, Strong are faking their injuries and are setting MJF up. Ghostface said that was either Bullet Club War Dogs. What the hell's that? Or Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong and the Kingdom with Adam in a mask at the end. What's Bullet Club War Dogs? Is that a New Japan thing? Bullet Club War Dog. Bullet Club War Dogs. David Finlay, Alex Colin, Clark Connors, Driller Maloney, Gabe Kids, Ghetto, started in 2023. Never heard of them. These guys are the truth. They're a perfect example of what they always tell you in wrestling to do when you're frustrated. Use it, and they're using it. The promos they've cut about being treated the way they were because of the pandemic is a breath of fresh air. I'm very excited to see who the next War Dog is going to be. Okay, well, it seems like there's a bit of excitement around this new Bullet Club break-off. I'm guessing, are they a break-off from the main Bullet Club? Like when we had Wolfpack back in the day. Okay. Yeah, I honestly, I don't keep up with New Japan. So I tend to look at the landscape around like Wrestle Kingdom. And then, you know, try and keep an eye during G1 or whatever. But that one has definitely passed me by. Russell Andy said, how can AEW make all in their Mania? I think some sort of Rumble type match on a road would help. I agree. Completely agree. Completely agree. I think using one pay-per-view to then set up your next pay-per-view. I think as well, make it clear what your big pay-per-view is. I mean, for some people, it's all in, all out. For other people, it's double or nothing. They're the two. Now 3 if you're going to bring back the Wembley show. I mean, they're doing Wembley again next year, so is that your WrestleMania? Is double or nothing your WrestleMania? I mean, I think by not clarifying which is your big show, might have people saying, no, it's got to be All In because that's where it started. But then other people will be like, well, no, because All Out was, what continued after All In. And then some people will be like, well, no, it's Double or Nothing because that was their first one. So I think by not really establishing which is the bigger show, then you don't really build up to that big show. You're not, as you said, you're not on the road. You're just heading towards another pay-per-view. I mean, I'd feel like it's probably the Wembley one now just because of the crowd and the size. But that's only just come along out of nowhere this year. So, yeah, I think it would be good to make it very clear as to which is your WrestleMania and then really build leading up to it and make it a big thing. And really, it doesn't play down your other shows. You're still going to have great cards for your other shows, but you're just trying to elevate that one that, this is our WrestleMania, I think that's worked well for WWE. I don't think that's hurt WWE's, offerings. So, yeah, I agree. I think establish which is the one, a road towards it, and even use another of the pay-per-views to get you to that big show, and then use a 3-month period. I mean, that's a quarter of the year just dedicated towards this one show and build and get conversations going and get people making their dream matches, dream cards. I mean, we're talking about WrestleMania 40 now. Could it be Roman at WrestleMania 40? Could we get WrestleMania at London? WrestleMania, there's so many conversations that we have about it because it is the granddaddy and it is the big show. But we don't do that with Double or Nothing. We don't talk about Double or Nothing. Oh, could you imagine if we get MJF CM Punk at Double or Nothing next year? Do you know what I mean? I agree. I think it would be in their benefit to go, this is the show, man. This is the one. But they don't seem to want to do that because I think they want to try and build up all of the pay-per-views to be WrestleManias, But you're going to have one that's bigger than the others, surely. Think of boobs. It's how it works with breasts. And I think that really that's a lesson that the wrestling industry can learn. I think Adam Cole is in the mask for real, said Hagen-Dazs. Pretty wild how Wembley has just come and gone. Great matches, but nothing memorable to look back on. Would you like to see Braun against Seth again? Yeah. I mean, it'd be a perfectly good match. I've seen it, so it's not one I'm desperate for. But I could definitely do with Braun against a few other people instead. But yeah, I'd definitely see that match. Right, we're done anyway. We're going to wrap up. We're going to end things there. As we said, bit of a mixed bag. Not the best of streams, to be honest, because there was a lot of listening and a lot of, really trying to take on board what people were saying. A new feud started as well, which you don't expect for a go-home. This is a go-home for Wrestledream, and out of nowhere, we've just built up MJF and Switchblade Jay White. So, yeah, amazing. So I'm very grateful for that. Lots of promos, lots of talking this week. As I said, I'm aware it's probably not made the strongest of streams, but listen, we move on and we've got SmackDown. And in fact, we've got loads. I've got a member stream tomorrow that I'm doing. I've got SmackDown on Friday. We've got No Mercy, which we're starting super early for, at least 2 hours before the kickoff show. So we're doing No Mercy NXT show on Saturday. We've got Wrestledream on Sunday, stacked, man. Then we're back round to Monday for Raw, Tuesday for NXT, so on, so on, so on. So yeah, loads on the way. Appreciate people joining us and sharing their thoughts about the show, and obviously on the road towards Wrestledream. Yeah, have a great evening wherever you are. Appreciate the support as always, and hopefully